All right. I'm just waiting for Zashi, and then we'll be good. So what have you guys been up to this week?
Got my new video card. Got my new case.
Ooh, nice. Is anyone else here gonna play Dark Tide?
Yeah.
I don't know. What is it?
It's like Vermintide, but 40k. Like a shooter.
I was trying to play the, I played the, what do you call it?
The beta?
The closed beta? The closed
Yeah.
beta?
Mm-hmm.
I played that a little bit, but there wasn't as much options back then.
It seems like... I didn't get a chance to play it back then, but it seems like they've added a lot, just from what I've seen.
Yeah. And I tried to play the pre-order beta a bit, but it's still sort of unstable.
Yeah, I had some people in my, like, Warhammer Discord who, like, they had pre-ordered it and were doing it the week early, but they were having some trouble.
Yeah.
Alright, but we do have everyone. So we can get into it, and then once MK arrives, we shall see what kind of shenanigans he walks into. So, today we are heading into our first session of the second book of Devastation Ark. It's the Starstone Blockade. At the end of the last book, you guys went through a whole bunch of different things. You were over here by this blue planet, Hib. That was the moon around Liavara. You successfully stopped the weird world seed that was underneath the planet, and turned out to be the planet. The moon has kind of just been built around this giant space station. But you guys did manage to shut down all the computer banks, which stopped all of the like crazy disastrous climate change stuff that was happening on the surface to Hib, and also kind of endeared you guys to Uso and the Bantrid people a little bit as you went down, explored the ruins, which it seems like maybe they came from there if they were originally slaves to the Civ. More worryingly, though, there is another vessel out there, which is unfortunately seems to be on the way toward... Oops, dropped my fidget thing. On the way towards Absalom Station, which you guys have just entered the orbit of. This massive ship, you had heard from your contacts at Abadar Corps that it had basically decimated the initial patrol that went out to try to make contact with it. From your guys' researches, you would assume this is what you had discovered as something called Arc Prime, and it is currently inbound. Those are all kind of the broad strokes, but I know it was, you know, we took a week off from Thanksgiving, so does anyone have any questions more specifically about any of that? If not, that is fine. All right. So, if that is the case, then we will jump back in with Book 2. So you guys know the mysterious ship has appeared at the edge of Pact World space, with no one else better positioned to explain the incoming menace. You guys have been summoned by your patron Abadar Corps to come and speak with the Pact Council, the other people in charge of the station, and indeed the Pact Worlds as a whole. You would have time to do any like shopping or anything you guys want to besides that. This is literally like the core of the Pact World's Absalom Station, so if you can find it in the various books, assume you can buy it.
Excellent.
Yeah, this is, if anywhere is, open season on purchasing, it's right here.
Awesome.
Because of your guys, status as, very well-to-do adventurers at this point, and directly having the knowledge of this crisis, you all are waved in to dock on Absalom Station. No docking fee. You berth in one of the nicer ports around the Ring District, which kind of surrounds the central sphere. And as you dock, Miss Knott's worried face appears once again on your screen. So pop her logo up again with her weird cybernetic eye. I'm glad you've arrived safely. Now, we get to wonder if what's happening was somehow started by our expedition where I sent you all to Jadaret's ruins, or if we have just happened to stumble across something bigger than any of us. I suspect we won't like the answer, no matter what it ends up being. I know you've all probably heard the news already, but just to make sure we're all on the same page. A huge ship has shown up in Pact World space, and all our projections show it moving toward Absalom Station. Everything we sent out to make contact with the vessel has been destroyed. None of them stood even a ghost of a chance. You see Miss Knott kind of presses her lips into a frown. This station isn't like the Adari. It never had the capacity to move out of the way. If this ship is hostile, and unfortunately everything suggests to us that it is, I don't know where that leaves us. And I don't know where that leaves the Pact Worlds as a whole. It probably won't surprise you to hear that the Pact Council Directorate has convened to discuss the issue. I'd like you to speak with them on what you've learned. Don't worry, she raised her hand. I'll take care of the particulars. Political, legal, whatever you need, you let me know. I think you are the people with the most knowledge in the system about whatever it is that is approaching us. Even if that information isn't much, I think the Directorate needs to be as informed as they possibly can be. I'm not the only one, either. I just got a call from a priest of Elaritu. I have no idea how she got my personal line, claiming she saw you in one of her divinations. She insisted that you have crucial knowledge for the approaching threat. I didn't really ask much after that. I found that when it comes to Elaritu, asking questions only gets you more questions in response. It's aggravating, is what it is. And you guys had briefly heard about Elaritu at the end of the last book. This is like a hidden deity, like the god of hidden truths. Yeah. So, I think that was basically all you learned. There was not a huge amount to be learned by it. It's not as though she asked me to do anything I wasn't planning to already, I suppose, Miss Knott adds. I know some of you might have had other motives in accepting my first contract, and if you need further motivation now, name a price. Abadar Corps will pay it as soon as the station is safe again. This isn't just about responsibility or public safety. This is personal. For those of us whose ancestors came from Galarian, Absalom Station is all that's left of our home. She kind of takes a deep breath and pauses and kind of turns her attention to you guys on the screen, waiting to hear what you have to say. And I see Flack typing. If that's what you guys ask her for, you can ask her that. She's waiting patiently for it.
What do you guys think?
It's a hefty payment.
I mean, could we go higher? You want us to save the world? We just saved a small world for 75, so.
It's true.
How about we we ask them to make an offer, and then we'll counter it if we think it's too low.
Stronger negotiating position. I like it.
Ooh, that's a
We
good.
don't want to start off. We don't want to start off saying 500,000 each, and they be offended. But if we say, if they offer, I don't know, 150,000, and we maybe go 175,000, maybe they go for that.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Is there a reward for this endeavor?
Yeah, so you put forward to them like, you're like, well, what are you offering? It's not kind of pauses and rubs her chin. You see her like cybernetic eye, which you guys know is like specifically it's an augmentation, like process data faster. You see it like glow really bright. Go ahead.
There are multiple organizations, corporations here, correct?
Oh yeah, I mean the Pact Worlds is like not just representatives from the various planets in the solar system, but like other high-ranking officials from different organizations. Like Abadar Corps has a say here. Not to mention, even if like a particular organization isn't like directly on this council, odds are they probably have enough political sway to try to lobby some of these people. But I think with you guys asking, I'm just like, what would you all say to 150,000 credits each? For a total of, that would be 750,000 to your team.
You know, the other thing we're kind of looking for beyond credits is, you know, maybe like a home base. You know, maybe a small section of Absalom Station that sort of, you know, can be the home base that we work out of.
Let me check something. She like pulls out her data pad. See like swiping through several options really quick. All right, what about this? 750,000 credits to your party, and I will get Abadar Corps to sign over the deed to one of our properties around the Ring District. It's pretty high end. It's like she basically describes like a 3-story like individual section of a tower, if that makes sense. Like there's a big skyscraper, but like the top 3 floors of the skyscraper would be like your guys' floors. And she's like, that would of course also come with a private dock to berth the Saloja at. Never have to pay docking fees ever again.
Sounds good to me. Everyone else?
Yeah.
Very well.
Penthouse.
Agreed.
Very well. I will send this over to one of my assistants, and they will formalize the agreement. Once we meet in person, we can sign these papers and be done with it. All right. With that in mind, then, you guys kind of, disembark your ship, head over to her office, as she wants you to come talk to that, like, priest of Elaritu that you'd heard about. Even before you enter her office, which is, like, first of all, like, her office also in a giant, top of a huge business tower. The whole building has, like, a giant holographic golden key on the side of it to represent Abadar Corps. And just her, like, secretary assistant, like, their room is bigger than most offices you've seen. They, bring forward a contract. They give you as much time as you need. I'd say in this one, unlike the devil contract, you guys can take 20 and determine that, like, yes, this is what you agreed to. 750,000 credits, 150 per person, the top 3 floors of that penthouse suite, and a private dock for the Saloja. So unless you have any other demands for that, they kind of like give you the tablet to sign for each of you to finalize that deal. All right.
Cool.
As that deal is finalized, she waves you into the room. And we are going to see... Sorry, excuse me. A new character There's so many handouts for this book because it's just all different named PCs. All right, here we go. You see this older human woman. Her clothes, the sleeves seem to be made of like moving constellations. She is in a... Seems like she is paralyzed from the waist down, is in like a hover chair. Miss Knott waves you all in, giving you a friendly nod, and says, crew of the Celosia, this is Cambrissa June. She is the priestess of Eleritu that I mentioned to you. I don't know much about their order, but by all means, if you have any questions for her, shoot. You see the woman kind of turns to you guys like a pleasant enough smile. Hello, all. I must say, you look even stronger than my divinations had foretold.
Do you notice Maggie?
Well, I am the High Priest of the Hidden Truth, and there are several cosmic secrets to which we are party. I do know of a rather eldritch being that fits that description.
I thought you might. Something about your look. So, what did you want to see us for? You said you wanted to see us?
Yes, apologies. As I said, I am High Priest of the Hidden Truth, the Archmage of the Circle of the Substantial Stone. We focus our study on the mysteries of Absalom Station's past and present, seeking its history from before the gap, if there is any to find, that is, and learning what we can of the Starstone itself and what powers it. As for speaking with you, I felt it was my duty, as it seems Miss Knott has taken it upon herself as well, to impress upon your group the importance of talking with the Directorate. They need to hear what you have to say.
What are they looking for us to say?
That I can't say for any certainty, but when I asked the powers of magic and the universe for a solution to the mystery of this approaching behemoth of a ship, it revealed you and your crew. I am not sure what more I can explain on that matter.
Okay.
Really, our focus... Go ahead, sir.
I was going to say, do you know more about what happened to the ships that tried to approach that ship?
I know not much more than what you do, but from what it sounds like, at least a few of the initial vessels that were sent by the Pact Worlds attempted communication with the unknown vessel. None of their hails were responded to, and all vessels have not returned. I believe they've all been destroyed.
And we don't know in what manner they were destroyed, whether they were shot down or engulfed or
If any of
other created
our
things.
If any of our divinations or scryings, as well as the rather advanced sensors of the station and the ships around it, it seemed to be a range of different energy profiles destroying these ships. It could have been plasma-based weapons, explosives. There seemed to be a lot of varied firepower. But most of what I know, apart from that I needed to find you, well, our order focuses mainly on Absalom Station itself and the Starstone, so those are the subjects on which I am most versed.
Out of game real quick. We
Yeah,
know
go
that
ahead.
this thing coming is from the sieves, right?
Yeah, you're very positive it's from the Civs. It seems like...
Yeah.
I don't think you're determined quite how they're linked, but like Hib the moon was formed around a giant ship. It's like most of the core of that planet called the World Seed. This ship seemed to have been in direct communication with the World Seed, but is known as Ark Prime. You also know that at least somewhat within Arc Prime, based on that final message you guys had from one of the slaves in the past, the Bandrid, it seems like he uploaded some sort of shutdown code to the Ark that would help his brethren trapped on there. So, at least something's fucky with the Ark right now. Those are some standout pieces of intel for sure.
And the civilization that they were at war with were the Kishali?
Yeah. So you would know, like, if they are... More is known about the Kishali than the Civ, but if the Civ were able to, like, go toe-to-toe with them, they would have had to have been pretty fucking advanced.
Right.
Although, admittedly, it does sound like from the end of those... some of the stuff you've read near the end of the war, it sounds like the Civ were starting to get fucked over a little bit. Like, if you remember, they, like, reopened research into, like, nuclear weaponry and radiation. That
Right,
they
yeah,
initially were like, this is, you know, too downtrodden a weapon, like, too lowbrow for us, but then they got, like, desperate.
Yeah, so, we've talked about this before. So we kind of get the feeling that the Civs, we kind of brought them back, in a sense. And now they're going to be causing some trouble.
Seems
Whoops.
likely.
Sorry, I just needed to refresh my memory.
No, you're good. I mean, we also took
No,
like a
that
week
helps
off.
me too.
So, like, that's fine. It's also one of those things, like, a lot of the info, if it comes up, I can just, like, say whether you guys already know it or not. Because, like, in the game, it's been about 3 or 4 weeks, including drift travel. Like, you would remember all this shit. Like, just happened.
Right.
So, like, in character, you got it. Out of character, we can always refresh.
Do we have any more information about the Kishali other than that they were the ones that the Civs were fighting? Like, where they are or where they went to?
I would say, well, you are now at the... Sorry. Now that you are in Absalom, you have access to the Absalom Station infosphere. So you can make, like, a far easier culture check to see if you know about that.
Does Cambrisa also? Does she know anything?
About the Kishali?
Yes.
Not particularly. I mean, her, like she said, her big areas of expertise for her order, as she's, like, you know, the high priestess of Eloritu, who his titles is, like, the hidden truth. And I think you guys learned one detail before, which is, like, it was hard for you guys to remember any information on them because the whole religion is built on, like, secrecy and stuff. Like, even aspirants to the order, like, it's hard for them to even try to join the order because it is so far, like, removed from the common eye. On those checks, though, you know, the Kishali civilization, so old. Like, timeline-wise, it would have been not just around, but flourishing when Galarian was, like, in its fucking Stone Age. You would also know that in recent years, other things have come up from them. Not to put too much of a spoiler, I'll try to be general, but for one of the other APs, the first one that came out, Dark Suns, there was a super weapon that was found called the Stellar Degenerator, which the Kishali had built, which was, like, just an insane weapon to, like, fuck with stars. The Kishali, I believe, took that from the Civs. I got that backwards in my head. But they were able to backdoor engineer it, and as such, when the Stellar Degenerator was discovered, which in game time, I think, would be about 3 or 4 years ago from this AP, that was how a lot of the Kishali stuff came to light. I want to kind of leave some stuff vague in case people are trying to play that AP. But you would know that they were very advanced technomancers, specifically, and were known to create, like, whole, like, different demi-planes just for, like, their civilization. But over the years, they have kind of... their survivors have kind of devolved into a subspecies known as just the Kish. But they're like very, not even really an interstellar power at all. So, yeah, that's kind of the general. I don't want to give much more than that because a lot of it is spoilers for different campaigns.
Okay. Yeah, if it's not useful here and it spoils other things, it's like...
Yeah, it doesn't seem like there's much more that would help you understand the Civ, at least, because a lot of this stuff... Like, people knew that they were fighting a war, they don't really know much about the Civ.
Does anyone know what they were fighting about?
That does not seem to be known, at least not in the infosphere.
Okay.
We do know, though, that the Civs were slave owners, and they weren't too worried about...
They weren't necessarily
messing
good
with
guys.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, from
I
what...
think we can assume...
Yeah. From what you've heard about the Kishali, like, they did not seem to be nearly as totalitarian or, like, brutal or slave owners as the Civ are.
Okay.
So at the very least, their, philosophies would have differed enormously. She's like, at the very least, if you don't have any other questions for me about my order, my knowledge, I'm glad that it seems you all have agreed to go to the Star Chamber and talk with the leaders, the Directorate.
Well, we'll see what we can do.
Is there any way we could get in touch with you if we think of more questions related to your specialty? We're still kind of trying to wrap our brains around this.
Yes, of course. She kind of keys you guys over to her comm code, and she's like, please, consider me available at all hours, especially while this crisis continues to rear its head.
Well, thank you.
She inclines her head and kind of bids you all a good day and floats out of the room.
I feel like we could have learned more from her, but we just didn't have the right questions yet.
I just had no idea what to ask.
Yeah, that's fair. It's very fair. So, with that, Miss Knott is just like, all right, if you all would head down to the garage level of this building, I have arranged for some transport to bring you to the Planara. You guys know the Planara building, located in the eye of Absalom Station? That is like the headquarters of the Pact World's government, where the Pact Council, debates, maintains alliances, hears citizens and lobbyist petitions. It's where like most of the politicking and policy stuff happens for like the whole of the Pact Worlds. A extremely luxury limo, like shiny black limo hover vehicle with just like all of the various fixtures have been like picked out in gold from Abadar Core. There is like a giant key like laser engraved on the hood for their symbol, and it quickly through some of like the priority sky lanes in Absalom. Just
a quick second before we get in this thing. I'd like to take a look at it. It's particularly with my X-ray specs and just kind of make sure it's not like a bomb or something.
Yeah. I'd say give me a perceptions. You kind of like activate your equipment and look through. And Flack, are you one of the ones that has the planned obsolescence curse right now?
No.
No, you got Cure. Oh, I think it's only Zashi has it left right now, right?
That sounds right.
Yeah, only Zashi has left. Okay, so then there's no chance that your specs are going to fail you or anything. Flack, you look through it. It seems to be... Weirdly, it takes you a second to, like, find the right... Stop, you asshole. Sorry, I was like...
Yeah, Flack, jeez.
My fucking cat, like, swiped at me from under the monitor. Like, I didn't even know he was back there. What are you doing?
Little double dumbass on you.
Yeah, Jesus. It scared the shit out of me. You can see it's honestly, it's got, like, some, like, lead paneling and stuff, so it's hard, but you're... Essentially, it seems fine. No bombs, no hidden explosives, anything like that.
Alright, can't be too careful.
No, it's fair.
It's just what a hidden explosive would say.
It does bring you immediately into, like, one of, like, the priority sky lanes. You guys bypass, like, all the fucking traffic like it's nothing. And as you arrive at the Planera building, you guys are immediately escorted up to the Star Chamber at the dome's highest point to speak with the Directorate, who have convened an emergency session. The thick magnetic doors open to reveal a room overlooking the entirety of Absalom Station's eye. The green expanse of Jatembe Park ringing the station's most exclusive and prestigious buildings. Sure, I want to check my audio is being weird for a second. There we go. Come on. Overlooking the exclusive and prestigious buildings. A semicircle of chairs and desks sits opposed to the wall-spanning windows, each seat pointed at the triangular digital display that sits in the center of the room. The members of the Directorate turn as Esfina Knott enters, rearranging their chairs to face the arriving delegation in respect. A Riporian counselor surreptitiously skirts behind the other Directorate members to murmur something to a seated Kasatha, though the others ignore them both as a heavily augmented Sheeran moves to the front. "Welcome," the Sheeran says, her friendly voice suggesting a hint of robotic inflection. "We have been hoping you might grant us more insight into the current situation, for all our sakes." There are a lot of council members here. Talking with them, you guys may be able to gain influence or lose influence for different council members. I will try and reveal these council members one at a time so you guys can see kind of who's around the room.
Is there a Yosoki council member?
I don't believe there is, actually.
Oh, that's bullshit.
Yeah, sorry.
It's just so human-centric.
I move for a vote of no confidence.
It's a Homo sapiens only club.
Alright, the first counselor...
I don't see any android counselors either.
Alright, aside from the PCs, Miss Knott and Cambrisa June, the, priestess who has also arrived here, the following people are present in the Star Chamber. Does anyone have 7 or more ranks in culture?
Hell yeah.
Okay, then you guys just auto-recognize all these people. The first is Givalarsk Nor. He is an Elibrian, a necrovite from the undead planet.
That fucking... Oh, man.
Do you recognize him?
I just finished listening to a... well, yeah, anyway.
He's in one of the other APs, I know that, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Alright, next... No, you're good. There's a lot of handouts here. Next is Klendelik. She is a Sheeran. This is the one that just spoke. Kind of seems like cybernetically augmented.
Can I tell which augment she has?
I don't know that they're specifically listed, but I'll say you can tell that her one of her eyes is augmented. She seems to have a lot of augments, like exocortex stuff in her brain. Similar to some of the stuff that Koss would have, actually. Then after the lovely Klendelik, there is the human envoy to... not a direct member of the Directorate, but she has the position as the Prime Executive, which is like the top government official of Absalom Station, which grants her the right to present at these meetings. And that is Kumara Melacruz. Next up, after Kumara, we have Lynn Camelon, a male Kuroshila Shunta. This man, he's a soldier. He's earned like multiple promotions due to his heroic actions during the Swarm invasion of the Pact Worlds a couple decades ago, eventually resulting in his position as Director General of the Stewards. So he is the head steward of like the interstellar peacekeeping force.
When Flack first sees Lynn, he He tips his head a little bit in recognition.
I think Lynn knows you guys well. Like, Lynn knows you all. He inclines his head to you. After Lynn... Sorry, there's so many fucking people in this room. Next is Losifarin, a male elf. This boy. The laconic elven administrator split from his normal isolationist kin on Castrovel to get involved with Pact World politics. You know, he cited a desire to kind of help guide the future of this solar system. You guys would also know that he's, like, far and away probably the least charismatic person on this council, and very much a pragmatist. He's not super well known outside of the Pact Council. Like, this is not a politician people talk about a lot. Next up, and I'm gonna butcher this, I feel like, but next up is Milgan Navaris Kachal Ander. She is a Kasathan mystic. She's a representative from the Idari, which you guys know, that's like the Kasatha, you know, massive ship that orbits the sun here. She is a rather vocal devotee of Talavet, and believes most problems can be solved by traditional means, including consulting with her deity. So she's pretty religious. She notably does have... Actually, yeah, I guess you wouldn't know that, because that's not from the default of 7 cultures. You know that. Alright. Next up is Zia Cho. They are non-binary winter-born Riporian. They're from Triaxis. Choa fought as a battle flower of Ning, which is like a soldier unit, not super relevant to this discussion, but has moved into politics more recently. They are the main Triaxian representative in the Pact Council. After certain events in a different AP led that to be the case. Okay. That's a lot of different people. Oh, sorry, I didn't actually hit show. Yeah, there we go. There's the show. I thought I hit show, but I realized as I was talking that I had not. Okay. So, obviously, a lot of people here. Trying to just minimize them all on the stream side so I can pull up whoever becomes relevant during the discussion. Okay. Cool. So that's a lot of people. Alright. Since you guys have the first-hand experience, they, you know, kind of all welcome you in here. And you're invited to remain for the duration of this emergency session so that you can properly advise the Directorate on potential next moves. While presenting the information that you guys have learned, you guys can gain a sense of a counselor's concerns and motives from that counselor's questions and responses during presentation. You will also have the chance to use your expertise and skills to sway counselors towards certain points of views. Each PC can take up to 5 social actions during your presentation of these facts. As one action, one of the actions you guys can take is assessing one of these NPCs to learn like what might better persuade them, what are maybe some of their hidden agendas, how do they usually lean on the political spectrum. Depending on the NPC, there'll be different checks you can do to try to see it on what exactly is their deal. And then you can also spend social actions to influence a PC. And once you have, you know, discovered some of the information about them, that will make those checks easier. So to help us keep track of all this, there's not really as much social combat rules in this as there was Pathfinder, but we are going to go into an initiative order, and which we will do 5 rounds. So if you guys want to just drag yourselves on, like, the map by Absalom Station, we can add ourselves to initiative order. We'll go through 5 rounds. Everyone gets 5 actions. Now we'll clear the previous order. Sorry, I'll add you back in, J-Boss. I removed it right as you did that. What'd you get? 18.07? Okay. Alright. Then just need Zashi then.
I think I still have a -3 to intelligence and wisdom.
Was any of that, was that what kind of, was that just damage? I think you would have repaired that during the trip back through the stars, like through the drift.
Oh, would that have taken multiple days?
Yeah, I think we rolled it last time, and you guys did manage it quickly, but I still think it was like 3 or 4 days.
Okay.
It's basically like the cool thing about Absalom Station, because it has the Starstone, is like no matter where you are in the fucking galaxy, it takes a D6 days to get back. Which is like not the case for anything else. Alright, and MK should be here soon, so I am just gonna drag him on and add him in. I'll put him probably just at the end of the order. So hopefully he'll appear as the others are going, and then I won't have to do anything for him. And we can also just skip his turn if it comes to him, so that he can have the right number of actions like the rest of you did. Okay, so with all of this in mind, we are starting with Zashi. So, Zashi, to kind of just go through some of your options again. You can assess someone as an action, which will let you know all their points of view. You can make a discovery check, which is different than an assessment. Discovery check lets you know which skills are the best skills for option 3, which is influencing someone.
Okay. And so I can make one of those checks?
Correct. You can do one of those actions this turn, and we will do 5 rounds of this. So you could just, immediately jump in and try to influence someone, as you guys
Sure,
are doing this, but why,
Yeah, that's probably not her style.
So also, yeah, just to imagine, this is happening while you guys are relaying all of the information you've learned. Feel free when you do your choices to say as much as you want, but we'll say that, the stuff that I've noticed you guys learned, you will be able to relay them without any problems.
So we basically told them, or are telling them at the same time, all about all the stuff we found. And
exactly, yeah. It's kind of in conjunction.
Okay, very good. That helps out.
I think that Zashi is going to make a discovery check against the or on the military commander guy,
Lynn
head
Camelin?
of the stewards.
Yeah, on Lynn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for a discovery check on Lynn, you can try to make either a sense motive check or a society check.
Society?
Yes. Culture, I guess. I don't know why it says society. Culture. Yeah. It literally says society in here, but it is culture.
Yeah. Okay.
Threw me off when I was reading it.
Try. Nope.
Ugh, not super high. Okay. That is not going to be enough to learn, pretty much anything about him. But I will say one thing you notice is that despite perhaps being a little bit past his prime militarily, he is still very cleanly trimmed military style, wearing his medals, clearly very prim and proper.
Mm-hmm. He hasn't given up the lifestyle of it.
For sure.
Gotcha.
You would think, you guys have worked with the stewards before. His rank, would, basically give him the privilege. He could, ease up on, working out and, lead a bit more of a relaxed lifestyle if he's not frontlining it. But he clearly has, not taken to that.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
All right, next up would be Flack.
Okay, so obviously it's a council, but usually there's like somebody that's the most influential, right? Would I know who the most influential person is in the room?
It's hard to say for sure because they do all have like different spheres of influence. But I will say one that a lot of them really respect would be Kumara Melacruz, because she is the like not direct. That's one that like wasn't part of the directorate specifically, but they're the prime executive, so they're like the top government official of the station. So they all kind of like pay her heed. Oh, excellent! MK is here. Hello. Weirdly rolled to go next, right as you came in. God damn.
You can go next.
Nice.
That's good.
Okay, so if you're trying to discover, so you could do like a culture check, sense motive. Those would be the big ones to try to figure out what's her deal. Nice. Okay, that was big. Sorry, yeah. Is this I assume you're doing was this discovery to know what actions to take with her, or assessment?
Exactly.
Discovery. Okay. So
Discovery.
with that discovery check, you would know some of the... Whoops, that scrolled too far there. Some of the best ways to influence her would be... She's a little bit basic, but it would be diplomacy, culture, or sense motive. She's basically like wholly wired into this life of being a politician, so she's not huge into other interests, or like other skills that you might need. But I would say, since you got the 30, you would know in like order of difficulty, diplomacy of those three would be the hardest, then culture, and then sense motive would be the easiest way to influence her.
Okay.
Alright, so that is your action. And that was on Kumara. So, MK, I don't know how much of what you've heard, but basically we're talking to the head council of the Pact Worlds. We basically have advised / are advising them on all the stuff we've learned, so they can prepare for that incoming ship, the Ark Prime. And this is kind of like social combat. We have 5 rounds of this. You get an action each round. You can use an action to either assess someone, which is like knowing all about them and like their political leanings. You can discover check someone, which is know which skills specifically are good to influence them, or you can spend an action to influence someone. The better you influence these people, at the end of this discussion, they'll be more willing to listen to you guys if you have like certain suggestions on how to proceed in this campaign. Does that make sense? For MK?
I think you're muted.
He might just be muted. MK. If he's still setting up, we can also just double back to Jax and then go.
Can you hear me now?
Oh yeah, there you go. I can hear you.
What the shit was that?
I don't know. Could you hear what I was saying though?
Yeah, I was having a full-blown conversation with you.
Oh. I was thinking, I was like, man, he's really just like listening to me go on about this.
Super intense. So yeah, sorry. Do we just pick one and then?
Yes, I can
decide
give
what
you like
action we'll take?
try like another quick overview of who the different people are. So like going down the list, Gevalarsk Nor, he's like the undead ambassador from Eox. Then there is Klendelik. She is the like cybernetically enhanced Sheeran. There's Kumara Melacruz. She's the one that is not directly part of the directorate, but she's the head government official on Absalom Station, so she, holds sway here. There is Lynn Camelon. He is like a director general. He's the head of the stewards. Losifarin is that very dour-looking elf. He's representative from Castrovel, even though his people are a little isolationist. He's trying to break that, although he's not very popular outside of his council. people just like don't really know who he is. He kind of fades into the background. Then there is Milgan, Navaris, etc., etc. She is a Kasatha mystic. You guys know that she's another member of the Directorate. She's very conservative and like a vocal religious figure. Zia Cho, they're like this non-binary Riporian. They're the representative from Triaxis. Triaxis. They're like the newest member of this council. I think that is all the highlights. Unless I missed anybody. I think that's it.
Okay. Well, and it sounds like Flack went for the Mystic, or Flack went for the Sheeran.
Flack discovered what skills are best used to win over Kumara Melacruz, who's like the human head diplomat of the station.
Great minds think alike. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Fair.
And it sounds like since you said sense motive was the best skill to influence her.
If you want to go straight for the influence, basically, and we're gonna say you guys like you're permanently telepathic shenanigans going on. Like you guys can transfer this to each other, no problem. The best ones to influence her in order of like most difficult to least difficult: diplomacy, then culture is a little bit easier, and then sense motive is the easiest. Those are the big three.
Then I will try to sense motive her, to try to influence her and explain, essentially the danger posed by this to the station.
Sure.
And all of her constituents. Not great.
That is a success though. It's close, but you will pull it off. So I'm basically kind of keeping track of this behind the board here. But that is one successful, winning over of Melacruz.
Always threaten the voters.
All right. That means next is going to be Jax.
So we're trying to convince. You're
essentially trying to just like, wow them enough that that they view you guys favorably enough, so that as this emergency session of like basically the Senate, haha jokes, as it goes on, it'll be easier for you guys to like talk to them and actually have them listen to your ideas. Like if none of them like you, when you make suggestions on how to deal with the Ark, they're just not going to care.
I forget what his name was, but there was the one guy who was sort of in military gear.
Yeah, that was Lynn. Lynn would be this guy.
Would I be able to tell if he'd be more willing to like favor sort of a like aggressive approach, like nuke him out of orbit kind of thing?
So for that stuff, that would be the assessment check, and you can assess him by either doing an engineering check, a piloting check, an intimidate check, or you can assess him with profession soldier is the easiest one. I don't know if you actually have points in that.
I don't.
Yeah.
I'll just do piloting.
Okay. Oh, that's rough. I'd say 26 is still high, even though it's an @1, but like not enough that you might suspect those things that you just said, but not enough to confirm those things. All right. In that case, costs. Who are you trying to either assess, discover, or influence?
Cost is gonna assess Losafar.
Hell yeah. All right. Pop that up so people can see. So if you are assessing the elf, sorry, let me double check his specific breakdown. You can assess him by either doing a life science check, a medicine check, or a sense motive check. Make an assessment. Is that an old Greg reference?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah, it is.
I remember I had counselors when I was like a camper who did that as a skit, and I like don't remember much of it, but I'm like looking back, I'm like, what did they cut? They probably should have cut more. Oh, that is exactly what you needed. Okay. So knowing about Losifarin. Again, this like wire-thin, sunken cheeks looking elf. He, when asked direct questions, he is very like short, calm, quick sentences, very to the point. He's big on believing that when things need to get done, even if it's unpleasant, he hates dilly-dallying. He wants things to be quick and efficient. There's big things about him. You would also know that, in addition to the stuff you guys learned earlier, he's gained some political acumen over the years, largely because he helped foil several attempts to like illegally influence the council. So calm, does the right thing, but wants things to be like efficient and to the point. All right, that is round 1. 4 more rounds. Zashi.
Okay. She's still fixated on Lynn, and can I try an intimidate check to assess him?
Yeah, for sure.
Because I'm much better at that, theoretically.
Theoretically.
Than sensing motive. Yeah.
That
in
is
principle.
one of his big ones, for sure, to assess. That'll do it. Okay.
Okay, good.
So, Lynn Camelon prefers clear action and a clean line of command for both politics and debate. He has no time for nonsense, and he's going to get, like, visibly frustrated by anyone who doesn't appear to have enough expertise to make heavy decisions on the topics at hand. Like, if he thinks you are not qualified to do it, he's going to be pissed off.
Okay.
That being said, he does have a great respect for, like, military successes. And due to your group's success in aiding the stewards, you would know that you could probably, like, lean on that kind of stuff with him, and he would be more likely to listen to you.
Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
I share this with everybody, mentally.
Hell yeah. Alright, next is back to Flack, then. So now we know more about a few people. The only influence... Melicruz has been influenced. I will say you can influence people more than once. But, like, the more you do it, it's going to start having, like, diminishing returns.
I think I'd like to, just take I don't know what it is, to look at Klendalik, the bug.
Are you trying to learn what Klendalik is like, or the specific checks that will influence them?
I think I want to know what Klendalik is like.
Okay. In that case, for assessment, you would know that culture or sense motives are the big ones to assess Klendalik. If you had any skills that would directly pertain to the Idari spaceship, that would also be good. But I don't know that you have anything specific like that.
Say that again?
So like the Idari, that's like their home ship over here behind you guys?
Right.
If you had any skills that would directly link you to that, like knowledge is of like, profession, whatever, etc., that would be the best. But apart from that, the other, like, 2 good ones for Klendalik are going to be culture and sense motive to assess her.
Alright, I think I'll try a culture this time.
Okay. Throw down a culture.
Would my criminal underworld check thing help?
No. She's not like a senator that's, like, on the wrong side of the law. Okay, yeah, you smash that one. So, like, most of Klendalik's Huron biology has been enhanced by cybernetic augmentation. Her eyes have electronic components allow her to see farther and much better than most. Although it's hard to sometimes see where she's looking because it's all digital. her legs are, like, fortified with metallic struts, and one of her arms is just fully cybernetic. Personality-wise here, some mock her a lot for being, like, more machine than not, but she generally maintains a pretty positive attitude and really, despite that, likes to engage in, like, casual conversation and, like, shoot the shit with people. Despite her robotic nature, you guys would know that you would know she's, like, widely regarded as the counselor that is most concerned with the lives of sapient creatures, to the point where some are like, okay, she's like a bleeding heart. It's a little ridiculous. You would also know she is very big. She really wants to present a strong front to support the Adari. And, like, protect the Kasathans, essentially.
Okay.
But yeah, so kind of often overly friendly, you know, too down in the small talk type of stuff, but is a little bit of a bleeding heart. Alright. Oh my god, alright, I'm thinking how to do... There's too many words. People have put a lot of words in my mouth in the chat. I'm trying to figure out how to add them all in. Okay. Alright. Next up is MK.
So we can't get more than one success per counselor, right?
You can, it's just going to be worth less and less each time.
Okay. And I'm gonna try this this Eoxian. I don't like the cut of his jib.
Alright.
So
You're assessing the Eoxian?
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Nor, you can either do, if you have any professions relating to the military, culture, sense motive, or life science.
And is that in descending order?
Life science being the easiest. Yeah.
Okay. I still think culture is probably going to be better for me.
Fair.
Alright. That's my action, is doing the assessment?
Yeah, that's your one action for this round.
Okay. Alright.
Alright, let's see it. I'm on fucking tenterhooks here.
Wait, am I supposed to roll?
Yeah, did you do a...
Oh, okay. I thought my action was making the assessment.
Yeah, you have to roll culture, though, to make the assessment.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, you're fine. Okay. So, about this creepy undead man. Our new Civ overlords would appreciate it. Okay. Gevalarsk often seems to have knowledge and contacts that indicate a less than savory nature, and indeed, a lot of his resume and, like, political background is just, like, spurious and false. People worry that he has lied and perhaps done worse to get onto this council. However, he takes, like, great pains to hide all this evidence of that, so no one's ever, like, really called him out on it. He has a vested interest in attempting to save Eox, sometimes from itself, as there are vying factions, especially in the Eoxian fleet. Although, I think with that high check, you would know a lot of his motives kind of veer suspiciously close to doing whatever he can to gain political favors to hold over other Eoxians on his planet. is certainly someone to win over, not by, virtue of telling him you gotta do what's right. In the past, he's done stuff like, and even in this discussion, he probably tells you guys, the Eoxian ships would be very important for the defense. However, he's like, but of course, with a word, we can make them retreat if we needed to. Implying, like, we could make them get away easier, but the obvious implication being, like, if you're not listening to us, we're just gonna fucking leave you be. Alright. So that's the big stuff about him. I'm trying to keep putting in new words in the chat. I'm trying to work them through one at a time. Alright. Next is Jax.
I'm gonna try to influence Lynn.
Ooh, okay. Influencing Lynn. Okay, let's see. Going through too many tabs at once. Did you guys do a discovery check or just an assess check on Lynn? I don't think you guys have discovered him yet.
I did a discovery check, but I rolled really poorly.
Yes.
So we didn't learn anything. And then I did an assess that I did better on.
You're not exactly sure what these specific checks are, but with all that information you have gained about him, you could perhaps make some guesses. On what type of skills.
What would it be to do a discovery check?
It'd be like a sense motive or a culture check, just to know about him. What he likes, what he hates. You could also just knowing what you've learned about him, pick a skill you think might be relevant.
I'm gonna go for engineering.
Okay. That was a good call.
Nice.
You kind of launch into some engineering explanations of what the different fleets are like in here, what are the defenses of Absalom Station itself, and that is a successful influence for Lynn now as well. And I would say with that influence check as well, as you look at his chest that's just festooned with all these different metals, you think that when you guys are talking, more specifically in roleplay, you could appeal to his desire to fight, because he clearly loves being in the forefront with all these medals. And that might make him a bit more likely to do what you want. Okay. Alright, that's alright, now it's costs. And I'm almost through all my words.
I will discover loss.
Discover which one? Oh, the elf. Yeah, go for it. See if you can sense motive or culture to see if you know what skills will be good on him. Oh, baby, smashing it. Okay. You would know that the best skills to use on him, culture and sense motive are tied, but a little bit harder. Diplomacy and mysticism, not because he's really a caster, but because of the mystic nature of his home planet. Mysticism and diplomacy are the next easiest after culture and sense motive. Yeah, the other, the rest of his cutesy poo fucking planet with all the elves who are addicted to nature, very big into mysticism, and he tries to, he tries to play to his demographic. Alright. Next is back to the top, Zashi. This is our third go-through. There's 5 total rounds.
Alright, so we've talked to the undead guy, we've talked to the human governor mayor of the land.
Indeed.
Military dude is on our side. Who's left other than them and the one that Cost just sensed? Because I don't have any.
You guys haven't done anything to figure stuff out about Milgen, Navaris, Kochel, Ander?
Who was?
That is, or no,
Yeah,
I think you did do Milgen, didn't you? Sorry, I'm fucking losing my mind over here.
It's a lot of people.
Milgen. Yeah, it was. Milgen is the Kasatha, right?
Yeah. Okay, no, you did talk to Milgen. Have you? Oh, I don't think anyone's done anything about Zia Cho. They have not really had any roles on them.
The new person?
Yeah, that's
They're like
the
newer
newest
to
one.
the. Okay, I will. What would it be to make an assessment on them?
To assess Zia Cho would either be culture, or perception.
All right. Well, I'll try perception. Sometimes.
Perception. Not enough to know everything, but does know some stuff.
Okay.
You know, I'm gonna say one key fact about her, or about them. Sorry, they have a reputation of having these bursts of bordering on inappropriate humor, just like at bad times, like ribbing the Eoxian undead guy about like, you know, the various atrocities that the Corpse Fleet, who's like a rogue faction, have done. It's like not really appropriate, but I think you know past that, a lot of this humor is just like a front to make people think that they are not as serious.
As they are very serious?
They are certainly more capable than just being like the silly person on the council.
Okay.
But that is like a front that they put on.
Interesting.
Indeed. Flack, you are up next.
Okay, I think I want to go back, excuse me, to Klindalik
Okay.
and do, I can't remember which is which, but the one where we figure out what sort of checks.
Oh, the specific checks? Discovery. So that would be... Those are culture or sense motives to do discovery, yeah. Klendalik in diplomacy or medicine, that's the hardest. Intimidate and engineering are the two easier ones. And don't worry if you don't remember all of these at once. Like, just if you, now that you know them, like, I'll remind you of them if you want to make checks.
What was it was diplomacy, and what was the other one?
Diplomacy and medicine are harder, but can influence her. Intimidate and engineering can influence her easier.
Okay.
All right, next is going to be MK.
So, having assessed the Eoxian, I can either discover him or try to influence him.
Yeah, so you could take the knowledge you've learned from that assessment and, like, make a guess at some of those skills. Or you could just make a discovery check to, like, for sure know them and try to influence him next turn.
Okay. Have we already... Because I'm getting nervous about how many rounds we've been at this.
This is your third try. You'll have two more after this.
Yeah. Have we discovered anyone who we haven't tried to influence yet?
You now have discovered Klendalik and haven't influenced Klendalik.
And what's the skill to...
Diplomacy or medicine is the harder choices. Intimidate and engineering are the easier choices.
Okay. Well, I might leave him for someone more engineering and intimidating.
It's fair.
Don't you have good medicine?
I thought he said engineering.
Medicine and diplomacy are like the harder two, but still possible.
Yeah.
Intimidate.
Oh, okay.
And like harder is, it's not like a huge gap. It's just like those are slightly worse than the other two.
Gotcha.
I'm not good at any of that.
Fair enough.
If you have decent sense motive and wanted to try to discover some other people,
That's what I was thinking.
You set it up for someone else. Yeah, you could try that.
So who have we not discovered yet?
I
guess everybody.
Well, a lot of people. You have not discovered. I mean, you haven't discovered Zia Cho. Don't even know that much about them.
All right, let me try to sense motive Zia Cho.
Okay. Oh yeah, that'll fucking do it. Okay.
I'll take it.
Zia Cho. More choices than anyone else in the council, I'm pretty sure. Diplomacy or sense motive are the harder of them. Then you could either make athletics, survival, or profession dancer. She is. Nice. They are very athletic, and they do have a they are known to go dancing. So basically, diplomacy, sense motive, highest. Athletics, survival, next highest. If you happen to have a profession dancer, that's the easiest. They also dancing is kind of part of being like a battle flower, which was their military unit.
Battle dancing.
Pretty much. Kind of like the old scimitar battle dance bard class from Pathfinder.
That would be an awesome background skill for an operative.
Yeah,
all
dude.
Dexy, dancing kind of.
That's pretty solid, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, so you now have discovered Zia Cho as well, which brings us to Jax.
I would like to make an athletics check to influence Zia Cho.
Oh, shit, okay. As you're, doing these explanations of all the stuff you've learned, you relate it back to, the feats of athleticism you guys had to do to, fight through up until this point. And Zia Cho looks at you, Jax, with an approving eye. That is Zia Cho influenced.
Alright, let's do a black flip.
Just in the council chamber?
Yeah, why not?
Just to make a point.
Kamara Melacruz is order, and Zia's nice, that was sweet. Alright. Costs. What is your move?
So, you said sense motive and mysticism for the elf. What else did you say?
For Losifarin?
Yes, for Los.
Culture or sense motive were the easier ones, and then it's diplomacy, mysticism.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, my phone cut out.
Okay.
One more time.
Culture or sense motive is the easier one. Diplomacy or mysticism is a bit harder.
We will go with sense motive.
Okay, that'll be a success. You're going to influence the elf as well. Okay, so to recap, remember you guys can't influence them more than once. After the first one, it'll get less and less matter each time, but you have influenced Melacruz, Lynn, Zia, and Losifarin once.
I make sure we all leave out that we were swindled by a devil into signing a contract, so we sound smarter.
Yes, for sure.
Thank you.
Alright. Zashi, what are you looking into?
The person with a K name who can be intimidated or influenced by intimidation.
Klendalik?
Yes. I would like to try to influence them.
Yeah, go for it. Ooh, now we're coming in. All right, Klendalik has a level of influence as well now.
Yay.
All right. And this is round 4 that we're in right now. Next is going to be Flack.
Okay, I think the one of the ways to win Kumara over, the easy one was Sense Motive.
For Kumara, yes, Sense Motive was one of the easier ones, correct.
So I will Sense Motive to try and influence her.
All right, that is a success. So Mela Cruz is like double influenced right now. As good as they are, she is the prime executive, so that's not a bad thing to have.
She already had one?
She had one, yeah.
Oh, I did not know that. So
do you want
to
to?
2 then? Losafarin has one. Lynn has one.
Zia has
Nalak
one.
has one. And Zia has one.
Correct. So you have 4 people at 1, 1 person at 2, if that's what you wanted to do with Mela Cruz.
Yep, sounds good. All right.
Yeah, she's a good politician. You know, no evil policies, no fracking the nearby planets of Castrovel, nothing like that. Good ally to have. MK.
I'm going to try to discover another person. I really want to discover the Eoxian, even though I already spent a turn on him.
It's fair. I mean, yeah, you could ensure that you guys know exactly what to do.
Go for it.
Because you're running out of time in the, in your presentation, as it were. Oh, that'll just fucking barely pull it off with him. That was close. Okay.
That guy.
You would know Gelivarsk Nor is best influenced. So diplomacy and sense motive are the harder ones. Mysticism is the easier one. And he only has 3 choices. He's a bit harder to win over. So yeah, diplomacy, sense motive, and then mysticism is the easier of the 3.
Okay.
Alright. Jax, that is you.
I think I'm gonna call dibs on him because I feel like I probably have the highest mysticism.
If one of us
think you
makes
do,
a check,
Mystic.
does that prevent the other from making the check later?
No. You can both try to do the same person.
Okay, so I'm gonna make a mysticism check.
Who are you making? On Nor?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, go ahead.
Fucking lay it on me.
I-
Oh!
Oh shit!
Ah,
That was so good. I'm gonna tell you right now.
That's amazing.
I'm gonna tell you right now. His fucking the DC for his mysticism checks are 34. So you needed a 19 or a 20.
oh wow.
Oh, wow.
Holy shit. Okay. Nor kind of like seems surprised at your knowledge of the mystic arts here, but gives a slight nod of respect. Not always the most expressive with his undead face that is mostly skeletal, but you sense there's a respect there. Nice, that was fucking clutch. Okay. Next up is Koss, and then everyone will have 1 more chance. I think the only one who has not been influenced is Milgen.
And we don't know anything about Milgen yet, right? We didn't even get any.
Let me scroll back down. I don't think you discovered much. No, you did know that they were... This is the one that's, like, deeply religious. They want the Idari spaceship to be safe. But you don't know what exact skills to use.
I feel like I should leave the religious one for MK.
It's fair.
Well, no, I'll do him a favor. I'll assess Milligan.
Assess or like the... Are you trying to find the checks?
Discover.
Discover, okay. I figured that's what you meant. We shall see if this pulls it off enough. Alright. 33. You would know that the best ones for Milligan, Navaris, Kochel, Ander. Mysticism is the big one. Especially if you have any bonuses to make it related to religion. However, culture or medicine or perception are other ones. Alright. And that'll bring us to the top of the last round of this presentation.
Okay, I think Zashi's going to take a page out of Jax's book and try to influence again the one who is influenced by athletics.
Yeah, go for them. For Zia Cho.
Picture Zashi.
Sorry,
just
I can't remember
flexing.
any of the names.
No, it's
Just-
okay. Zia Cho is the younger representative. That is just enough for athletics.
Phew.
So, guys have two stauncher allies in Mela Cruz and Zia.
Cool.
Alright, Flack, it's your last chance.
So I would like to do an engineering influence on Klendalic.
Alright, going for another one on Klendalic. That is a success. Klendalic is also double influenced. Alright, MK's final one.
Okay. I think somebody set up.
This cost set up Milgan for you because she's the mystic, and you know mysticism is now the easiest one for her.
Yeah. Okay.
And she has no
I'm gonna do
influence
that.
checks yet.
I'm gonna try to influence her. Big money.
She's religious too, right?
Yeah, she's like deeply religious.
Tweener.
33. That will do close, but that'll just do it. Yeah, you needed exactly a 33 there. Alright. So everyone has at least one influence. Melicruz, Zia, and Klendalic have two. Jax, back to you.
What were Lynn's again?
Ooh, let me scroll back up to Lynn.
I don't think we ever discovered, but you succeeded with engineering.
Yeah, you took a guess at
Before?
engineering, but you didn't actually do a discovery check. You were just like, okay, military, you tried engineering. But there could be others. But at this point, it's kind of do or die. You just have to pick a skill. Because there's not time to discover him. Unless you want to discover him and toss it to cost to influence him.
You said ZHO was also survival. Is there a benefit to making her 3?
3, there's not a... The benefit from going from 2 to 3 is not going to be as great as going from 1 to 2.
I'm gonna try a piloting on Lynn.
Okay?
Fuck.
Oh, that is unfortunate.
Oh man.
Piloting was a good guess, though. He does like piloting. He used to be a like a fighter pilot.
Damn.
Costs. That is you.
I already spent 3 turns on them, so we're gonna make it 4 for Los.
Trying to double influence Los? Yeah, that'll do it.
Spent 4 turns on this guy.
Alright, so we are at the end. I'm gonna give you guys the breakdown. Melacruz, 2. Lynn, 1 influence. Zia, 2. Losfarin, 2. Klendalik, 2. Nor and Milgen, 1. So all of them are at 2 except for Lynn, Nor, and Milgen. But everyone has been influenced.
We bullshitted them good.
Oh boy, okay. Alright, with all of those checks done, we can move on to the next phase of this. Alright. So, as discussions continue, with the various people, it's at least a B+, lots of different problems are being thrown around that they consider needing to be solved to better address the current crisis. So I'm going to give you some examples. Actually, I'll give you all 4. There's 4 major concerns that the Directorate wants to address. The knowledge you guys have and the amount you guys have influenced them could change the course of these events, which will in turn change the course of how this crisis develops. So, I'm also going to tell you each of these 4 things has a difficulty rating, ranging from easy to hard. Easy, medium, or hard. First up, defending the Idari. This is hard. The calculated path of Ark Prime shows it will pass dangerously close to the world ship known as the Idari. That is this place over here, which would force the Kasatha to scramble to move their cultural home. The vessel hasn't even started its engines in, ages. It is just in, stationary orbit around the star. The process of moving it might be safer from engineers and with engineers and escorts from Absalom Station. Most of the Directorate believes there's a chance the Idari can manage without additional aid. Andar and Klendalik urge more caution, arguing that a failure would prove catastrophic and likely result in many of the Kasatha forces guarding Absalom Station to abandon their post as they leave to check on their families. Yes. Alright. You would know, I think you guys would know with your various skills here, the chance of a starship passing through the Idari's orbit by accident is small, meaning that if the projection is as shown, the Ark Prime seems to be deliberately aiming for the Idari as either a perceived power source, maybe a threat, but you would need a substantial escort fleet to divert Ark Prime from the Idari. But as it stands, the Idari is in substantial risk of being destroyed, which would be rather devastating for the Kasatha. Problem number 2. Sorry, there's so much talking in this part of the book. Next is rescuing the Eoxian fleet. Before you guys arrived, a fleet of impulsive starship pilots from Eox defensive forces attempted to confront Ark Prime and shoot it down. Both the Directorate and you guys can realize the futility of this endeavor, but the vessels remain intact. This is the first group that has not been completely destroyed. Nor believes that he could convince the Eoxians to retreat or change their tactics into delaying Ark Prime instead of launching an assault, increasing the chance that the Eoxian fleet survives. Losifarin, recognizing the limited scope of the system forces, argues for leaving the Eoxian fleet to suffer their fate. Next is station defense. Knowing that Ark Prime approaches a seemingly inevitable pace, the Directorate is extremely reluctant to remove a significant armada presence from around Absalom Station itself. These ships are currently in prime condition to try to rout the alien ship as it nears the station, but unless convinced otherwise, the Directorate won't have them take part in any operations that might bolster other Pact World forces before Ark Prime arrives. You guys recognize that the Directorate is right to be concerned, as Ark Prime will likely reach Absalom Station before Pact World, like, military forces can completely mobilize. So, like, you know, the various planets in the system have more significant armies. What is out here now is pretty much what's going to be here as Arc Prime makes its arrival. You guys can also surmise that the Armada is likely no match for Arc Prime, and risks must be taken to survive the approaching threat. Of course, failure to defend Absalom Station would have beyond catastrophic results, and so arguing for a less defensive presence at Absalom Station, that's going to be a daunting prospect to convince the Council. Finally, the last one is station security. This is the easy one. The Directorate is concerned about moving too many forces off the station, especially due to likely civilian panic should the ship get too close. Worse yet, fringe political groups have threatened on social media to storm government facilities, and Kumar Melacruz fears they might take advantage of any chaos to ferment an uprising. Melacruz wishes to keep the crews of many of the Armada ships near Absalom Station to offer farther security and evac efforts if necessary. You guys would understand that, sorry, there's a lot right here. You guys would understand that without at least some military presence, the station might suffer internal catastrophe while fighting off external forces. Absalom Station can likely make do with a token military force, with the caveat that doing so means the station can't be evacuated quickly if something goes wrong. If the Directorate focuses too much on defense and not enough on offense, the need to evacuate in the future becomes a near certainty. Overall, keeping station forces to a reasonable minimum and focusing on riskier yet more rewarding scenarios is likely the better maneuver, but one that might not play well with the citizens of Absalom if publicized. Okay. So, going over the problems the station is facing, then we're going to get to the next part of this. The four problems, the hardest to deal with, defending the Idari, the Kasathan-like home ship. The two medium problems, rescuing the Eoxian fleet who decided to challenge the ship themselves. Chat made me laugh. They said, fuck, they still have social media? Rip society. Station defense is the other medium one, being like the Armada, the fleet around the station, and then station security, convincing the people that they need to maintain a smaller on the ground presence in the station to make sure that other things can be fought off. Okay. So, to solve some of these problems, there are 20 fleets to allocate for the defense of Absalom Station and this whole solar system. I'm going to put these in chat really quick. The current deployment that is being favored, which you guys know that, knowing these problems, this is probably not the best fucking deployment. There are currently 2 fleets dedicated to defending Idari, 2 to rescuing Eoxians, 8 on station defense, and 8 on security. The security means that, 8 ships, 8 fleets worth of people are just, on the ground in Absalom, ready to defend and evac people, which is an insane amount. So, you guys can attempt up to 6 checks to sway the Directorate to reallocate a fleet. Fleets can be reassigned with either bluff, diplomacy, or intimidate checks. If you have an appropriate profession skill, you could sub that in. These checks will be easier depending on how you've influenced the different people. Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to line this all up in my head because there's a lot here. Okay, so you guys have to make these checks to reassign those fleets. Once you have done that, we will be making a overall check to solve each of those 4 problems. The more fleets in certain places are going to make those DCs of the 4 problems easier. More fleets you have, easier the task. So, the first thing, I think we would decide out of character, where is the ideal placement of these fleets, and then the party can attempt up to 6 checks to reallocate those fleets.
Well, I think it certainly looks a little weak on defending the Adari.
Yeah. Also, I'm gonna fucking have a heart attack reading all this text. I'm gonna get an ambulance or a Kronkenwagen. I can't even say it. Kronkenwagen. God damn it. Supposed to slip that in there. I can't even fucking say it. Jax, you've bested me. I literally couldn't even fathom how to say it.
I think we made like six words that he had to say.
Yeah, I got through all the others fine, but then I was like, fuck.
Some Germans in the chat.
You've also my friend Picardi in chat, by the way, like knows a bunch of different language stuff, including German, and you've put too many ideas in his head now.
Are you about to change it after the session?
Maybe. I don't know. Look, I took Spanish in college, pass-fail. That's the best I can do, guys.
What about Nihongo?
No. Alright, so what's the vibe? We got 20 fleets. You were pointing out that, like, yeah, that doesn't seem like a lot to deal with the Idari. And remember, like, the Idari one's the hardest. Eox and station defense problems are the medium ones. Station security is the easiest problem to fix.
Yeah, too many on the security. I think need at least a couple more on Idari, and then rest should go to defense, and maybe a couple on the Oxen fleet rescue.
Yeah, I almost feel like we shouldn't waste any more than 2 fleets on the Eoxians. They made their bed.
Yeah, but here's the thing. As soon as they're done with the Eoxians, they're heading for the Idari. We might want to use the Eoxians to slow down and have a better chance at defending the Idari. And
just like guerrilla warfare.
They die again?
I think we can...
I mean, yeah, they can be destroyed. Like, the undead aren't coming back from a plasma strike to their ship.
Yeah. I mean, I think we try to rescue the Eoxian fleet and have them, like, slow it down. And then while they're doing that, we try to... You said that the Idari is a world ship, so we could maybe get it to Vamoose.
Yeah, it's just gonna take... Like, we're basically... That final check for that problem is gonna basically be a check based on, like, getting it going and moving it. Because it's a world ship, but it hasn't moved from that orbit in, like, potentially centuries.
Right.
We don't even know how long it's been since it moved, right? Because
I don't even think so yet.
Arrived pre-gap.
Definitely gonna
I think
have
it's
to clean up
pre-gap.
carburetors.
I will double check,
Yeah,
but
for sure. You're gonna want to check those spark plugs.
For the security forces on Absalom Station, like, what would be the minimum number we think that could handle it? Because they're mostly just civilians, correct?
Yeah.
So
the fleets there are basically like it's a lot of forces to keep the crowds calm, essentially. Like, that's a lot of boots on the ground.
yeah, I think it might be a bit much, though.
So I was gonna say pretty much exactly what Zashi said in that order, but 5-3 instead of 6-2.
So
That
8.
sounds good too.
So that'd be 8, 4, 5,
We only get to
3.
move
something.
6.
I will say, if you exceed the checks to commence something, those 6 checks, if you exceed it by a certain amount, you can move 2 fleets with 1 check. So it is possible to move more with just 1 check.
Oh, so we can only move 6 fleets.
You can make 6 checks. They might not even succeed. But if you succeed by a certain margin, you could move multiple fleets with 1 check.
Okay.
So priority-wise, we definitely want to move some fleets from station security to defending the Idari.
Yeah, I agree. That would be
So-
first. To try to
Yeah, so
shift
if we
that over.
get a couple of those, then maybe reassess at that point, like how many we have left and how we might want to move them.
All right. I'm pulling out some dice to put in front of me to keep track as we make these checks. So the current breakdown is 2, 2, 8, 8. So the initial check you're trying to make, then you want to make a check to move station security to defending the Idari, correct? Okay, so
Yeah.
that would either be a bluff, diplomacy, or intimidate. Unless you have basically like a profession skill you think might be better, like a mercenary or something like that.
My diplomacy is pretty.
What about piloting for moving fleets?
Yeah, I think we found our Achilles heel.
Piloting is
My
more.
intimidate's not bad.
Piloting is more like those type of checks are gonna be like the actual checks we make to solve these problems. So like I'll tell you right now, for example, the Idari one, you could use like piloting or like physical science or engineering to make that work.
Okay. But to move these things, what were the checks again? Diplomacy,
Bluff, diplomacy, intimidate, or if you have a profession skill. I will say, like, because of the successes you guys have, this is a lot on the back end, basically, but these various checks are going to be easier or harder as you move place to place based on who you influence.
Fuck.
Sorry, say that again?
God damn it.
See if you can say it again.
Okay. With all of the successes you guys had during your presentation to the directorate, that is making these various DCs for various fleet movements easier.
Okay.
That's basically it. That's all you need to know.
Oh, okay.
And
Alright,
you
sorry.
need to use one of those 3 skills or a profession skill to attempt this. So who would like to make the first check? I assume the first check is one of those to attempt to move station security fleets to the Idari, based on this breakdown we have in chat.
I'll try to intimidate.
There you go.
Diplomacy is
Ooh.
You should also do diplomacy.
All right, do you want to try a diplomacy one then?
yeah.
Okay, go ahead and roll diplomacy. All right. This was not super high, even with the bonuses from influencing the council. That is going to successfully move 1 fleet. So there are now 7 station security and 3 at the Idari.
Okay, it's better.
And I'm going to tick down these checks as we go. We have 5 checks left.
Well,
Should I
none
try
of
and
those
intimidate?
things are any of my skills. So the
We said
the
we
best
had
I
to
could
roll
do is a
for it.
diplomacy, but I think we have other people that are better at that. You know.
All right, yeah, so if anyone wants to try an intimidate or diplomacy, then you said you had a high intimidate next, Sashi, right?
Yeah, it's
So-
not bad. It's-
Are you same direction, moving from station security to Idari?
Yeah, I think so.
There's a lot of bookkeeping, but I actually really like this part. Just like this macro of like, how do we defend the whole fucking system? 26 with the bonuses from the various ones you guys did. All right, influenced. That will be a success to move 1 fleet.
All right.
Nice.
So we are now at 6 at station security, 4 at the Idari, and we have 4 potential checks left. And if you've got a crazy
So
plan
ne-
for a roll, feel free to try to convince me if there's something else you think would work. I'm all ears.
I would love for bluff to work. I don't know if we could.
Bluff is one of them. That's one of the ones I said.
It is.
Yeah, I said bluff,
Oh, shit.
diplomacy, intimidate, or the professions.
Damn it.
You want to try a bluff?
Bluff. Yeah.
Okay,
try a bluff.
what are you bluffing? Where are we moving?
So we're trying to move more from station security to the Adari still.
I
Right?
believe this is the breakdown that you
yeah.
guys were saying before. So you want 8 Adari, 4 Yox, 5 defense, 3 security.
Okay.
And you're
But
currently...
we have a limited number of tries, and I'm thinking maybe the next one should go from station security to the Oxian fleet, since that's so low.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking too.
Okay.
So maybe I will try to bluff the station security ships into rescuing the Eoxians
All right.
by telling them that the Eoxians have lots of.
And I will say, if you exceed it by an insane amount,
Free beer.
you don't have to send the fleet. Like, each, when you exceed it, you get to send an additional fleet. You don't have to send the maximum, if that makes sense.
Damn it.
Okay, 31
Rolling
for the
trash.
bluff. And this is moving to the Eoxians. That's just barely gonna be enough because of how you influence Nor and Zia. So that'll be 2 ships being moved. So that's actually you guys are at your desired one for the Eoxians now.
So okay, so
You
that was
guys
two
are
fleets
currently
moving from-
you guys are currently sitting at 4, 4, 8, 4. And the desired is 8,
Okay.
4, 5, 3. So still some to move around.
So
So
maybe next try we do station defense to Idari.
Agree.
And yeah, you guys
So,
have 3 chances
I-
left. Go ahead, Koss, what are you saying?
can I try to finagle life science or physical science for the Adari? There's a whole civilization of people that can die, possibly.
I'd say if you want to try a life science, I'd allow that.
Alright.
So that'd be you're moving station defense to Idari. All right, go ahead and make
Yes.
your rolls. I will figure out the corresponding DC. That is not enough for 2, but that is enough for 1 ship movement. So we are currently at 5-4-7-4.
A lot better.
And you guys have 2 chances left.
But I maybe do some engineering to alter the orders for a fleet and send it somewhere else.
For which direction? Like what engineering to move from what to what? Thinking about.
Security to... oh, what do we need more, you think? Idari?
So currently, I know you guys wanted 8 on Idari. You have 5 right now.
One more security to Idari, you think?
I would vote for that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I'd say that makes sense for
Well, defense to Adari, right?
defense to
Yeah.
Idari would allow for more potential movement because you wanted to keep security at 3, right? So there's only really a potential to
Yeah.
move 1, whereas there's a potential to move multiple from defense.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Gotcha.
I would say, yeah, moving from defense to the Idari, I would say you could try an engineering. Based on your logic has convinced me. Okay, that was big. Let me check the DCs.
Nice.
Working with the ones you convinced.
I just send them
Klendelik
a video of
and
me with a bad mustache telling them that they're being redeployed
Uh,
to Idari.
Klendelik and Lynn were all about that, so that is going to be 2 fleets allowed to be moved.
Yay.
So if you wanted, that would bring defense down to 5 and Idari up to 7. So I'm going to
That's pretty close.
put the current breakdown in. You guys have 1 check left. The desired breakdown was this, and you guys are currently at this.
Nice.
So
That's pretty good, guys.
potentially, if you
Yeah.
moved far right to left, you'd be exactly at what you wanted. So does anyone want to make that final attempt to move a station security to the Idari?
So let me throw something out here real quick.
Lay it on me.
You know, if we make the roll that the Idari gets out of the way, all those fleets that we sent to the Idari are going to be out of play, right?
Yeah, basically that would determine how well the Idari itself is going to fare, as well as how many fleets might be available when Arc Prime does eventually come calling.
Yeah. I don't know if there's maybe an argument in there for holding what we have now at the station.
You want to move one to defense? Because I think defense would ultimately be the thing that...
Defense is like the actual like blockade protecting Absalom Station, which is currently at 5.
All security is doing is just keeping the citizens...
It's like stopping people like
Anti-riot.
rioting, and like panicking as the ship gets here.
But
So
if
it would be an
defense
attempt to
fails-
go from security to defense, 1.
So bring it to like the last two would, instead of 5-4, be 6-3 is what you're trying.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes sense to me if that's the one you
I think
want to
that
try. Who's doing the final check? This is your last choice, or last try. No one,
got the best
no one wants to go. Yeah, who
modifier?
who has the highest bonus to either, I guess, bluff, diplomacy, or intimidate?
I have a 23 to bluff.
Dude,
Then it
do it.
I feel like that's the
go.
highest.
I keep
Okay.
rolling trash.
Okay, that is it. Honestly, that'd be enough to double move fleets. So you could move 2 fleets here. You don't have to, but you could move 2 of those fleets from security instead of just 1. Up to you guys. If you don't want to, you don't have to.
Are 2 fleets enough to do the security, you think?
That's
Or
up to
would
you
we-
guys.
Would we know if that's sort of pushing it, if that's sort of like...
You, I think, would know. So when I went through all like the full description of the problems, your guys' assessment would leave you to believe that like keeping station forces to a reasonable minimum and focusing on riskier yet more rewarding scenarios is probably the better maneuver. It's just you guys might lose some overall popularity. The citizens might not like it as much. But in terms of like actual effectiveness in this planetary like system defense, it might be worth the risk to like have people be a bit more mad and move more into defending the station.
Yeah. So leave it at 2 in the station, and then move 2, so we'd have 7 in station defense.
So you would have, if you did that way, it'd be 7-4-7-2.
Right.
So kind of, yeah, like the two, basically the 2 choices now to decide between, is it either going to be this or this? Or is that's the final decision you guys have to make, basically. I'd say if you guys just want to do, I mean, there's 5 of us. If everyone wants to vote, we just do majority rules.
1 vote for 2 security, 7 defense.
Okay, 1 vote for the 7-2 option.
One
I'll
vote.
also vote for the 7-2 option.
Okay, 2 for 7-2. Koss, you're
7-3.
the 6-3.
6-3, yeah.
All right, we're at 2-1 right now. Zashi, what do you think?
6-3.
6-3. Yeah, that's 2-2. Whoever hasn't voted,
Okay,
MK, you're a
tiebreaker.
decider.
It's like the Supreme Court. I'm gonna go. Sorry, 1 second.
No, you're good. I feel like I'd be more tuned in to Supreme Court proceedings if they were about a Devastation Ark.
Fleet movement.
Yeah. About spaceships.
I'm gonna go 6-3.
All right. That's the move then. So 6, 4, or 7, 4, 6, 3. So the final breakdown. You guys have 7 fleets assigned to defending and moving the Idari. You have 4 fleets to rescuing the Eoxians. You have 6 fleets in defending Absalom Station, and you have 3 fleets keeping order on the station itself. Alright. Now we will go into the actual solving of these problems. Starting, we're going to just go straight down the list as they presented it, starting with defending the Idari. Now, engineering to mobilize the world ship systems without failures, there are 2 main options. There is physical science to push the strange engines up to speed, and there is piloting to plot the safest escape route. Whoever has the highest of either of those skills should roll it, but the number of you that have a plus 15 or higher will make this check easier. So, who has a plus 15 or higher in either physical science or piloting?
I've got a plus 29 piloting.
I have a plus 28.
Alright, so that's...
Is
I've
it?
got a plus
Go ahead.
25 piloting.
So that's 3. Zashi, go ahead, what do you say?
I was just gonna ask, when you say is it points from skills plus the modifiers that you would get to apply?
It's like whatever you would add to your normal roll. So it's like if you made a piloting check,
Okay,
whatever
I
that
roll
number is.
piloting just to find out what that is.
Well, it would be on your sheets, whatever it's like plus whatever.
I think you're asking if it's ranks or if it's your total.
Oh, it's the
Yeah,
total
that's-
skill. It's not the ranks.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
So I
No,
think
I don't have anything.
okay. So cost you of 15 or higher in either physical or piloting.
In physical science, yes, but I feel like piloting is safer because I think I'm the only one who dipped into physical science.
Well, it's either or. Like if you just have a 15 in one of those, you're helping.
yeah, I have plenty more.
Okay,
in
so
physical
4
science.
out of 5. So basically, the next thing that matters is I would say whoever has the highest roll possible of either physical science or piloting should roll it. You guys are getting bonuses. I'll like basically I'm lowering the DC by a certain amount because it's easier than telling you all the confusing bonuses for the amount of fleets you guys have allocated, for how good you guys are at these checks, and just like the general, basically just those 2. I don't know why I said something else. Basically, it's those 2. So, who has the highest of either physical science or piloting?
Yeah, so I got that plus 29 piloting, but that's my highest.
I think that's the highest anyone has of either of those 2 skills. All right. In that case, Flack, you're gonna roll a piloting check. Probably the most important one he's ever rolled in these games. 43, and then you guys allocated 7 fleets. With all of the fleets you guys have allocated and your skills as a group, you do successfully begin to like move the Idari away. So you do succeed at that.
Nice.
Yay!
Hey, yes.
All right. So, I'm gonna make more notes for myself. So Idari has the check mark. All right. Next up is rescuing the Eoxian fleet, to which you have sent 4 of, your own fleets. This time, there are some different choices. There is diplomacy to convince the Eoxians to retreat, or you could do a group, it could be bluff or stealth to obscure the fleet's movements as they're like doing like guerrilla warfare.
No, Black wants to roll stealth.
I want to roll stealth really bad.
All right.
Can I assist his stealth with my bluff? Or is that not how this one works?
So this time it's
Is
kind
it
of
like
it's
before
two
where-
different categories. So it's either like everyone agrees to diplomacy, or you're doing stealth or bluff, and that, like, you know, bonus coming from having plus 15 would only be from bluff or stealth, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So it's like
yeah, then I
committing to the
vote stealth with flak.
guerrilla war approach, basically.
I would vote stealth.
Okay. If that is the case, since we have majority rules there, how many of us have a plus 15 or better in either stealth or bluff?
I do.
Okay, Zashi, MK, Cost doesn't this time.
Flack does.
Flack does. Jax, do you have a 15 in either bluff or... Okay, so 3 of you do. And you've attributed...
Check flak, like 42.
It's filthy. This is very high likelihood right now. Okay, so Flack, you're gonna roll stealth, and you guys have 3 crew members good enough to help with this, and 4 fleets attributed. Oh, nice. That was a big time for a nat 20. Okay, make a note of that. That was nice.
Got him.
God damn. All right, so with a nat 20, it's 51 already with the other things working. That is a success.
God, I hope so.
Yeah, I mean, right? All right, problem number 3, station defense. You guys have attributed 6 fleets. All right, station defense. Computers to coordinate the defense, engineering to shore up fleet and station shields, or piloting to devise optimal defensive formations. So this time there's 3 categories. None of them relate to each other, so you'd have to have a plus 15 in whatever of those 3 skills you choose. So you guys can do computers to coordinate defense, engineering to, like, bulk up and repair, refurbish the fleet, or and your station shields, or piloting to devise the most optimal defensive formation.
I don't have 15 or more in any of those categories.
It was computers, piloting, and what was the third?
Yeah,
one?
and like the plot wise, these choices also kind of matter. So, like, you know, you guys chose the more guerrilla warfare path of the Eoxians. It's computers to coordinate a defense effort. Engineering would, like, shore up the fleet, like repair them and repair the station shields, like, as good as they can get. Or piloting will devise the most optimal defensive formation of the fleet, of, like, the collective fleets.
Pick your poison, Flag.
Jesus Christ.
Cost has 9 and computers and engineering.
Okay, so it seems like computers seems to be the one with the most overlap right now.
I got 22 computers, 22 engineering, and 25 piloting.
Okay.
Piloting.
So I think computers is the highest overlap between the groups. 4 of you would have it. So in that case, the computers one, that would be bolstering, you're coordinating the defense. So whoever has the highest computer check would want to roll that. And you guys have attributed 6 fleets. So
Who has
26,
better than a plus
19.
26 computers?
Cost, what do you have?
29.
29. All right. Cost then.
Do it.
Ooh, baby. I think that's going to be it. If you had not attributed as many ships as you did to this defense, that would not have worked. But you did, so that is a success. Nice. You guys haven't failed any of the tasks yet, and all that's left is the easiest one, so let's hope we get that. All right. Station security. There are, again, some options here. The most options, actually, which is why it's another reason why it's the easiest. Culture, to help the disparate populations of Absalom Station act in unison. Diplomacy, inspire the populace. Intimidate, cow the extremist groups among the populace. Or sense motive, to recognize which fringe groups actually pose a threat and need to be dealt with prior to the attack. So, Culture, diplomacy, intimidate, sense motive.
I got a plus 26 on culture, but low on the other ones.
I say we have to pick one again.
Yes. There's multiple ways to. We could do every single check for every single task, but that is unnecessary in my opinion.
Sounds like a lot.
Yeah. I appreciate the in-depth part of this book, but I don't think we need... Like, that option is not entirely necessary in my mind. Alright, so Jax is out for any of those skills. Highest so far is a sense motive, and only 2 people to back it up.
I've got a plus 26 culture.
Okay, 26 culture
So we've
means
got-
that's equally as high as the sense motive, but you'd have 3 people to back it up.
Yeah.
Sounds like that's the way.
Okay, I think that might be the move. Yeah. I think cultures. Okay, so you want to roll that culture then, because you have the 26? You guys have 3 fleets left.
Oh, shit.
Hold on, that's going to be close.
Anybody got a hero point?
Alright, so let's see. You guys have 3 fleets.
Everybody burn all their stamina.
31.
Can I, for something like this, use my certainty, spend a resolve point, and roll it again?
I would say, yeah, I think so.
I would like to do that, and I have to do it before I know the answer. So
Okay, that's good, because I was still calculating the answer in my head.
that's a little better.
There, that's better.
Okay, that was the right call. You would have failed, just so you know.
Nice.
Okay, so you guys focused on culture as the primary manner of security. With a 39, that is a success. So many fucking disparate numbers on my phone right now. Okay. So, as much work as that was, we will get some XP here in a second, but that does bring it in to like the end of this meeting, and Miss Knott did promise you guys the reward if you just helped coordinate the system defense, which you have done. So, you guys each get 150,000 credits. You have your base of operations and your personal dock. So everyone go ahead and add 150,000 credits to their base, or to their sheet.
Oh, damn.
Mm-hmm.
We got paid faster than I expected.
She was desperate to get you guys information in there. They had nothing to work with.
I get on my pad real quick, and I text our bartender to make sure and have some champagne ready for us.
He sends back like some like thumbs up emojis, followed by like the champagne cork.
The clinking glasses.
What was his name
Yeah, the
again?
two clink
I
glasses.
forget.
Dennis.
Dennis, yeah, it's Dennis the bartender.
From
I
Patty's
offered
Pub.
him the employment and I didn't even know his name.
shout out to fucking Dennis, just chilling back there.
I think the funniest thing would be just to call him a different name every time we talk to him.
I mean, with how well you guys are paying him for basically doing nothing compared to his old labor job, he probably wouldn't care. Like, if I had a boss that was paying me, like, major bank, just prep drinks for when they happen to be on the ship, I'd be like, yeah, call me whatever, dude, I don't care. Yeah, you guys are rich, have, like, one of the, like, premier real estate position, only going to increase in value, honestly. Especially because, I mean, you're on a space station. Space is a fucking finite resource up here, so have such a big house is insane. Okay. You have the fleets. Meeting concludes. The Directorate does ask you guys to remain nearby as Arc Prime approaches, so that you guys can be summoned quickly should any complications arise. Okay, so the math this is going to be a buttload of XP, and then I'll divide it. So let's see. You completed all 4 tasks successfully, and you warned the Packed Worlds of exactly what they needed to expect. Everyone is going to get 51,200 XP. Big fucking swings.
Nice.
All right. Change some stuff up here. All right. So, you guys have your fancy new digs. As they are near the central eye, they do overlook the lovely greenery of Jatembe Park. You guys can basically place orders for food, amenities, whatever the fuck you want right now, and it is delivered by a small robot.
DoorDash.
Pretty much. You guys have time here to, purchase items, prepare for what is to come, or indeed seek out any NPCs or anything you guys wish to contact.
Can we take a IRL bio break?
Yes, that was a lot. Yeah, let's take our break. I don't think we will get to it today, by the way, but even if you don't get to the level of this, because they're devoting so many resources to you for next session, you guys will have a tier 17 starship, because they will be paying to expedite the improvements. All right, let's take a quick bio break, and we will come back after that. bring it back in. Alright. Any final things being done while you guys wait events?
What kind of amount of time are we talking about here to wait?
It's kind of nebulous, but if you guys like have something you want to do, we have time for it.
Well, I don't want to. I mean, it would probably take us the rest of the session, but I think what we were talking about doing is doing a sell-off of stuff that we have, and then sort of seeing how much we have and maybe doing some re-equip at that point. But I don't know if we want to take time to do all that now. Maybe we do that between sessions. And just say we did it now.
That is true. We could say that. If you're buying gear, like the gear would be relevant in this session, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And I think we've gone through like a couple dungeons and some fights without selling anything off. I think now would be the logical point to just the rest of the session we just figure out what we want and get everything sorted.
Yeah, I think if we work together, we can sell the stuff pretty quickly.
Also remember that it only sells for 10% of its market value.
Correct.
Okay, so let me do something here with the log. I will move everything that is not assigned, and then we could just calculate it off of that.
Gotcha.
Make it easy on us here.
I can get some augmentations right now, right?
Oh yeah, this is Absalom stage. You go ahead and get what you want.
I am definitely going to get some echolocators.
Ooh, what does that do? Blind sight?
Yeah, I think blind sight.
Nice. Okay.
And a cybernetic arm, either single or dual, depends on how much we get from sell off.
Gotcha. This is such good use of the spreadsheet. That's what it's all about. Spreadsheet use has all been building to this. Hey, no bites. No bites. Silly cat. I'm just like watching you. I'm just like fascinated by like watching the fucking spreadsheet change in front of me. So on the sold tab, is that the stuff at the bottom?
So there, what I did was I copied the available items, which is the latest up-to-date one.
Yep.
To the sold 12/1/2022.
Yes.
And I'm just removing the things that people have already picked. And then down at the bottom there'll be like a total, like in the right below the last row.
Yes.
D. Column D.
Is the total, is that already reduced by the amount?
No, that's the total.
Oh, okay. Oh, so you guys don't actually have as much to sell as I thought. Because if that's like the correct amount, I think you selling all that stuff, you get what, like around 5,000?
5,000 each or 5,000 total?
I assume that's just the total right there, right?
So 3,277,500.
Oh, what am I looking at? Holy shit.
Credits. So that 10% of that, which is
Oh, on the first page? The total under D?
no. If you go to the page, it says sold 12/1/2022.
Oh, I see it. Okay. I got you. Okay. Ignore me. I was looking at the wrong thing. All right. 3,277,555. We're dividing that by 10. So that would be, we'll just round it up to make it easier, but 327,756 credits.
Divided by 5.
And then divide that by 5. So, whoops, my calculator closed by accident. So everyone should have an additional 65,551 credits, in addition to the 150,000 you guys just got paid.
So each of us gets 65,000?
Yeah, everyone.
65,551.
Yeah, the most recent number in chat is the number that everyone gets from selling the equipment that no one has claimed.
Right, we each get 327,000. I got it.
No. Yeah, that's better.
Wait, what?
I will be getting a worm dragon gland installed.
Oh my god. That's like the best one, right?
Yes. It does 18d6.
18d6! God, I love the future.
I think I'm gonna go for...
Dude, fuck 5e Dragonborn. You're just getting a fucking implant in your throat.
I mean, fuck 5e, period. But
Oh, fair enough. Starfinder is my current favorite of the different types of systems that I run. Probably followed by
Agreed.
PF First Edition would be my second favorite.
yeah, first edition's classic.
And I'm not going to do it right now, but I will clean up the sort of the current loot log. Anything you guys cast off, you might want to put in there or sell it.
Yeah. I'm gonna sell my old armor and force field.
Yeah. I mean, it might be easier at this point if you're just like, if you're selling your personal gear, just add that money to yourself at this point, I feel like. That might be quicker in terms of just overhead. Like, if you're selling that armor for, you know, the 10% of that, just add that to your funds.
Yeah. Thank God I've been writing down my credits because my credits just reset to 0 again.
I don't know why it keeps doing that.
Man.
I've literally never
That's
had that
good.
problem. But it keeps happening.
Yeah, I have it in a calculator over here, so I'm like... And I just look over and it's 0 credits. I'm like, oh, thank God I didn't do that again.
What the fuck? Alright. So feel free to grab whatever insane fucking gear you guys are gonna have.
Does anyone else get
I need a little time. I'm sorry, I need time.
that's
I
fine.
do need a minute to.
No, that's okay. Let's take a second here. I feel like for once it is necessary to like do this instead of just between sessions because we're about to have a whole bunch of crazy shit happen. So like this is the time for it to happen.
Is anyone else grabbing anything spicy?
Oh, I'm sure there's gonna be some spice. Apart from that wormling gland, like definitely some spice. What is the? I wonder what the. What level are you guys now?
15,
15?
unless we leveled up.
I don't think you did yet. But like, I feel like you guys are for sure above the character wealth by level chart at this point.
I think we have to be. Yeah.
We keep fleecing all the people we work for.
I mean, in theory, your total like overall wealth, including items at this level, should be 500,000. And I feel like most of you are probably about to exceed that.
Oh, yeah.
Just wait till the end of the campaign when you guys are level 20. Apparently, the average character wealth for level 20 is each of you will have 3,775,000 credits worth of stuff.
I'm gonna have power, armor, and the biggest gun I can find.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude. Alternatively, what if you guys just buy a mech? I don't think there's any actual mech fights in this one, so that probably wouldn't be worth it, but it would be funny.
Buy a knight.
Like a 40k knight? Probably, for fucking 3 million.
Buy a titan.
Oh my god. One of the other 3D printing people, like me in my group, is in the process of printing like a full-size like Titan.
Nice.
Which is fucking absurd.
I've seen those. They look so cool.
Yeah, dude, like they're like as tall as my toddler, but it's like a miniature for a game. And the game, for those of you, like, imagine D&D in real life. Like, those minis are basically the same scale as Warhammer. So imagine, like, if you had, you know, whatever mini you're using for your in-person games, and then the mini next to it was as tall as a toddler, like 2 feet tall.
Okay.
That is the equivalent.
I think I may have told you guys I bought some little Warhammer figures, like I've just started getting into it.
Hell yeah, dude. I don't think you said, what did you...
Nice.
I got the Death Corps of Krieg.
Oh, yes.
Orc.
The Krieg are
And
so cool.
I don't have the patience for painting, I've realized. I'm gonna have to find someone to paint it for
See,
me.
I don't have the patience to build them. I like painting them. But, like, actually gluing them together pisses me off.
If I built them and then sent them to you, would you be willing to paint them?
I'll send you evidence of mine. Mine are not that well painted.
People
I can
definitely
guarantee they'd
make
be better
money
than
doing
mine.
it.
Oh yeah, dude. Some of the people in my group are like, that's all they do for work is just painting miniatures, and they're so good at it. It's like actually crazy.
If you're willing to do it, could you send out a feeler and ask if anyone would be willing to?
Yeah, I could definitely try. I don't know what their backlogs are right now.
I mean, I am willing to pay. Is like I've seen like a huge like chasm between like there are people who do it like professionally and they're like even the small figures are like $30 a figure. I'm like, fuck no.
Yeah, I mean, I'll send you some of the shit that they do, but yes, most of the ones I find that do it professionally, they'll have tiers you can pay for, if that makes sense. Like, you could pay for it to look like, you know, that $30 per figure amazing, or something like, you know, cheaper.
Yeah.
Like, mine are okay. I think have gotten better at painting them, but a lot of what I focus on, I like more of the competitive stuff, and for tournaments, you basically, in a match, it's possible to score a maximum of 90 points, and then if your army is half painted, you get 5 points. If it's full painted, you get 10. And to be considered full painted, it needs to be like on a base and have at least 3 colors. So like those are the criteria I try to hit most often.
Yeah.
And for some of them, I'll go a bit harder. Like I have some snipers that have like camouflage cloaks that I did like a very like dappled pattern of like 4 different green colors. Yeah.
So I added the thermal capacitor to my sheet,
Yes.
and nothing showed up. Oh, there it is. It went to the bottom. I'm sorry. Never mind.
No, you're good.
I will also be grabbing that cybernetic arm and a shield for it.
Ooh, baby. Which cybernetic arm is this?
Just the single for now. It's the one that goes out of your spine and lets you hold something else.
Oh, gotcha, yeah.
So there's gonna be a little robot arm that pops out from my back and shoves a shield in between me.
There's a bunch of memes about 3 arms in the Warhammer community, because there's this one faction, the Gene Stealers, who basically, like, it's like an alien species that, when they first show up, they're very alien looking, and then each successive generation of, like, breeding with humans makes them look more human. So they, like, infiltrate governments and stuff. But, like, there's a generation in the middle where they all have, like, 3 arms. But they'll try to, like, there's lots of memes like, yes, I have the right number of arms that a human would have, but they like have 3 in the picture.
Okay, what do I want? Where's that armory book?
I love the what do they call it? The Astra Militarum.
Yeah, dude, they're so cool.
They are them and the Adeptus Mechanicus. They're the backbone of the Empire.
Oh, for sure.
And it's amazing to me that like Space Marines, that you're in this giant tank of a power armor. You have the best weapons, the best training, the best implants, and like you're like descended from gods or whatever, and you
pretty
still
much
fall to chaos. But you go to some like backwater world on Krieg, and the soldiers are so determined to die that like they want to.
Dude,
like,
the Kriegs are fucking psychopaths. There's like multiple. I love all the novels I've read that have like some of their like. There's one novel where like, without getting too much into it, like there was a planet under attack. A bunch of different guard factions are like joined together to defend it. And one of the other factions, the Mordians, is like, all right, you know, Mr. Krieg General, like fall those dudes back so we can use them later. And he's just like, no, they're gonna die in their duty. And they hear the like the book, like they overhear radio chatter of like this whole fucking group of like 30 Krieg guys bum rush an enemy tank and buy the war effort like 4 extra seconds of delaying tactics. And the general's just like, excellent, good work, man. And all the other generals are just like, what the fuck is wrong with this dude?
I like the I think it happened around Mother's Day where like this like female Adeptus Mechanicus gets like a letter, a picture, and it's a whole Krieg battalion. Because like I think the lore is that the soldiers of Krieg are cloned.
Yeah, they're like one of the few planets that are like allowed to be cloned. There's like limitations on cloning.
I think they just do it anyway and just don't tell.
I think it's kind of like the Inquisition doesn't ask about them and they just do it.
Because they're so effective. It's like, okay, they'll die, they'll do whatever we want them to do in any war, and all we have to do is just look the other way at the whole cloning thing.
Yeah, I mean, fair.
I mean, when do you ever hear about a Krieg soldier falling to chaos?
I'm trying to think of any lore where I've read that, and like I for the life of me can't. Like guardsmen certainly fall to chaos sometimes, but I can't think of any examples of Kriegsmen doing it. Because they're just so fucking indoctrinated. Ugh, I'm hoping in the...
Oh man, so many choices.
There's a lot of choices. I'm just over here getting ready. There's so much shit I'm about to throw at you guys that I'm just like, okay, they need this gear.
I don't think the Worm Dragon Gland and the Shield aren't in the compendium there.
I don't know if I had. I thought I would have had the gland because I feel like they added that earlier. I think there's a few books that I don't have yet. No, I should have the gland because it's in the standard rulebook. Okay, I can search the augmentation dragon gland, but can I not drag and drop it? That's fucking weird. I don't think they really put as much effort into the Starfinder compendiums as they did the other ones, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think we had to do a bit earlier with my armor class, with some of the stuff I had.
Yeah. It looks like you can, like, read about it in the augmentation section of the compendium, but you can't, like, move the item.
Yeah, I think I can just manually make a attack thing for the Dragon Gland.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best shout.
would you be able to help me figure out how to do? Because I'm getting
Let me see. Like pull up your
the
sheet.
arm. I'm getting an arm plus the advanced tactical shield.
The arm. Okay. First of all, for attacks, we could just add an attack that's.
Yeah, I think I can handle that.
That doesn't matter.
I don't know how to do the armor.
All right, so let me see. What was it called? The tactical shield.
Yeah, the advanced tactical shield.
Okay. All right. So that just adds +1. Or let's see.
I gotta say, I'm disappointed with the high-level magical item options. There's no.
I feel like it's more about the tech ones at high level, unfortunately.
Yeah, which is interesting because usually, I feel like in other games it's the other way around.
Yeah, I think you are right.
But I really don't want to have to spend all this money on spell gems because that is going to take forever.
Alright, I'm just going to add this in as a permanent buff. It's +1 to both things, right?
+1 to EAC, +2 to KAC.
+1 EAC and +2 KAC.
Yeah, I should be at 38 and 41. I think I had to monkey with it earlier because the armor that I switched to only has a. I forget what the max dex bonus. Do you guys know what the max dex bonus is for the D suits?
Which one?
7. D-suit 5, right? 7.
Yeah, you're right.
And I think so I think that earlier what we did was the S-Deck suit only had a max dex of 6, so we had to manually bump it up.
Gotcha.
But I also have something else for KAC, I think. Armored advantage or something.
Yeah, that armored advantage is already added in. And then... Oh, wait, shit. Why isn't it letting me add something? What the fuck? Whoa. Oh, are you also adding a buff right now? I might be doing that because we're both doing.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. I can add it in the last one. I'm just adding a separate buff for the tactical shield. Bonus to KAC now. It's gotta be all caps. Why? I don't know why it doesn't want to let me give a bonus to KAC.
I think that worked. It's at 41.
Oh, okay. I guess it was just lagging for me. There we go. Excellent.
Yeah, that's right. Got a 41 KAC.
Damn.
It's pretty hefty.
The enemies are going to have like a 39 to hit.
I mean, it's gonna get pretty wacky. We're getting to the point where, like, we're gonna get up to, like... And you guys have already seen one CR-18 enemy.
Was that the drone?
I think that was the big drone, yeah. I'll double check, but he was up there for sure. Yeah, the big drone was 18, so it's gonna get even crazier. Beautiful test of your new pistol.
Isn't that great? That's classic flak.
Oh my god.
I mean, it's in keeping with your levels.
Hey, look, that one was too higher.
Oh my god.
Do better than you normally do.
This is actually the most insane streak of rolls I've ever seen in my life.
Where's my calculator?
Game says no.
The game refuses.
I think you said that the bonus from the bipod and the gunner harness stack.
I believe they should. I didn't see anything that said they like were mutually exclusive. When I feel like when I researched it, I didn't see anything like that.
Nice. Then I can Soldier's Onslaught at a -2 now.
That's big. That's real big. Advanced Reaction Cannon Onslaught. Just insane names now.
+7 from the Deadly Aim.
+7 to hit from those?
No, +7 to damage.
Oh, okay. I was like, well, I didn't think that was the thing. Oh, you're right, because it's taking the penalty. +7 to damage. Wow, okay. This is truly becoming a game of rocket tag with these fucking guns. That's actually crazy.
All you have to do to win is just mind control me.
Fuck.
I mean, yeah. I mean, the higher up you guys get, the more dangerous you can be with mind control. Flak was already bad like 4 levels ago.
Yeah.
All right, let's try this again. Oh my god.
I need everyone to know the following sentence about some stuff that's about to happen without spoiling things. Here's a sentence for you guys. The repercussions of a situation growing worse are detailed in the, quotes, "it gets worse" sidebars located on each page.
And then it got worse.
Such a good line.
Well, at least we'll be able to charge more now.
And just so you guys know, in each of those "it gets worse" sidebars, there's a "it gets worse" section and then an "it gets much worse" section. So, you know, there's some potential problems coming your way. I don't know if you're still looking, Zashi, but you might be able to buy like the next tier above that sword.
Yeah, I was thinking I was gonna put most of my money into the really good freebooter armor.
Ooh, fair.
Because it would let me have a +8 to Dex, and then if I get +8 to Dex with an ability crystal, then that would be
True.
about
Okay.
the best I could do.
There's also, you might be able to afford you're at the 0 edge longsword now, which is 7d8. You could potentially afford the molecular rift longsword, which is 10d8.
That sounds just irresponsibly sharp.
The molecules of this longsword have been artificially agitated, creating a devastating disruption field along its blade. It must be stored in a magnetic sheath to avoid cuts and damage from casual contact.
And accidentally opening a rift in, I don't know, space-time.
Probably.
You drop it, open a wormhole.
The strongest one it's a level 20 item for 727,000 credits is the Dimensional Slice longsword, which is 14d8. The ultimate advancement in
Damn.
metallurgic technology, designed by a tech firm owned by Ulrika Clan Holdings. Oh, this is some dwarven manufacturer. A dimensional slice blade looks like an elongated stiletto surrounded by a blade-shaped aura. The aura is solid to the touch and can slice through almost any material. Horrifying.
When we become millionaires, that's what I'll get.
I mean, in theory, you guys are getting a level 20. You guys should have some level 20 gear items by the end of this campaign.
Awesome.
I don't know, what's the biggest cannon I can get?
Which type of cannon is this?
No, I was just asking what's the biggest cannon I can
Oof, God, let's see. So what do you have right now? The reaction cannon, right?
get. Yeah.
You could get a Paragon reaction cannon, which does 12 D10.
Is that level 20?
That is a level 20 item for 810,000.
Yeah.
12 D10. That is insane. I love the way Starfinder scales. What the fuck is a tactical gyro jet?
It's like a projectile weapon. It's like an upgrade from the pistol.
Oh my god, does it fire like water? What is it shooting?
I have no idea. What's good?
But they fire mini rockets.
I was gonna look it up.
Each clip holds 8 mini rockets. Beautiful. On a crit, it knocks them prone.
Yeah, it has that knockdown. Yeah,
Beautiful.
I like it.
Beautiful.
I feel like there's going to be some enemy that we come across that's just not prepared for what we are.
Hey man, it's a big galaxy. Someone's got to kill you in it.
I mean, there's got to be some group that's just totally not prepared for what we are.
Oh, I mean, there's some fights you guys have taken in the last book where you just wrecked them. I think there's going to be fights like that for sure, where they're just not prepared for a group as experienced as the crew of the Sloja. It's just impossible.
It's a lot of matchups too, right? Like it's, sometimes we there's been those times when we've like almost lost to like weaker enemies, and it's just like
Yeah,
rolls.
sometimes it doesn't go your way. It's for sure.
I was playing in a game earlier this week where there was like a group of enemies, and there was one enemy that was like had its own sort of unique token and unique stuff. I was a paladin on a horse, and I went first because I'm a Dexidin, and I immediately ran
Nice.
up to him and crit smite him.
Oh my god.
And then he had to spend his turn running away from me, and the horse just caught up, and I killed him before he could do anything.
What system was this?
5e.
5e, okay. There's I think I've mentioned it before on stream. I have this one folder on Hero Lab that I just call the experiments, which when I'm bored, I just make level 20 Pathfinder first edition characters and try to find the most ridiculous builds that no one would ever allow. Like I made one which basically 3 times per day he could lift the equivalent of like 10 Golden Gate bridges.
every lifting capacity.
Basically, yeah, and like every possible strength thing. Like, what if he was like an awakened woolly mammoth that also became like a fucking werewolf or some shit? It's like all the most ridiculous things together. There's also a way with an awakened cheetah where you can like shatter the sound barrier. Because the cheetahs natively have an ability where you can, like, once per day run, like, 10 times your speed or something. So that, with, like, every single class ability that upgrades speed.
Oh, I need to get some grenades, too.
Can't forget that
Oh,
flag.
gotta have the grenades.
think I told you.
I'm spending all my money.
I think I mentioned earlier the rocket pauldron. I think the best one does 70-10.
Jesus. We love a good shoulder gun. Have you guys ever seen the, fuck, like the default Iomade priest art for Starfinder?
No.
Because she's, like, wearing, like, fucking, like, tactical power armor. With, like, insane weaponry. Oh, fuck, where is it?
Did you play Wrath of the Righteous?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. Did you go for the whole legend build where you get essentially 40 levels?
I don't think I did that. I honestly don't know if I finished the final thing. I got, like, really far, then I got distracted.
Yeah. You know how it works with the mythic paths, right?
Yeah, for sure.
There's a bit in that where you can either choose to keep doing the mythic paths, or you can shift gears and go for legend,
Oh.
and you get an additional 20 levels.
Jesus Christ. Alright, I put it in the chat and I'm going to drag the picture on the stream so people can see. But yeah, that's like an Iomade priest with like the Axe of Iomade holy book chained to her belt, holding like a power hammer, and one arm is just like a chain gun.
I'm pretty sure that it looks like
Jesus.
Warhammer, not.
She's a Terminator.
Pretty much.
That's ridiculous. Is that fan art? That can't be Paizo.
I thought it I feel like I saw this in one of the Paizo books. Now I feel like I'm going crazy because it doesn't look like their art style.
No, that's a crossover.
I think it
that's
is
for sure. Either it's that's a Starfinder Society. Yeah, that's somebody's fan art.
I think it is, you're right. For some reason I thought there was one like that was real.
It's still badass. I'm not.
Oh my god. What the fuck?
Can someone remind me again how your encumbrance weight, your carry weight for your works? I know it has to do with strength, but
The bulk system?
yeah.
Let me pull up the rule really quick.
Because I might have to get you to do another couple changes.
This is another piece of crazy art. Apparently this is... I guess I could check what page of the rulebook this is, but I'm not going to. It might be fan art, but there's a... Apparently this is one of the Starfinder rulebooks where Sela, the iconic paladin from Pathfinder, this is like her in Starfinder with like a fucking disintegrator rifle.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that one's from the core. That's badass.
That's fucking incredible. I'll drag that one onto the stream as well so people can see. Alright. Going through the bulk rules. Okay, item bulk. Bulk limits. You can carry an amount of bulk up to half your strength without any difficulty. If you carry more than that, you gain the encumbered condition. You can't voluntarily wear or hold an amount of bulk greater than your strength score. And as a general rule, one bulk ranges kind of from 5 to 10 pounds.
I think I also have a feed for it.
I think you did, yes.
Well, I know I did. I just can't remember what the fuck it's called.
That's fair.
Small one.
That would have been pretty kick-ass if that would have happened in game.
Yeah, can you...
Nat 20 with that tactical gyro jet pistol.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Just fucking...
Your strength score is 3 higher.
Oh, okay. So basically that means you could carry 17 bulk.
Isn't it your strength minus half your strength?
It's half your strength is when you become encumbered, but you can carry like up to a certain amount.
Right. I'm picking up a Starfinder backpack.
Ooh, that sounds fun.
So in total, it would be 7 higher than my strength score, so 21 strength.
Jesus.
I don't think it changes from the 10.
You could hold a lot of shit.
Does anyone want an industrial backpack?
Nah.
Because I can sell it for two whole credits.
Solid. Nice. Love two good credits. Buy yourself like a
One
little
more thing I want.
a little snack.
Yeah. I'll just give it to the bartender, whatever his name is. Tiffany.
He just like goes to his quarters and just hangs the backpack on a peg. He's like, I don't really know what I'm using this for, but if I go out and get limes and other ingredients, I'll use it.
I mean, it's free shit.
I also love to imagine that you're like semi-intelligent virtual intelligence. Doppler is just like hanging out with Dennis on the ship while you guys are gone.
Oh, damn, I can't afford that. Oh, well, never mind.
Not to mention, fuck, I'm blanking on the clever new name of Koss's robot.
RuPaul?
Yeah, there we go.
Do they...
They're all just hanging
Is
out.
he a racer by any chance?
Is he what?
I said, is he a racer by chance?
Which one?
RuPaul.
Could be.
Does,
Could be a drag racer.
As a race, because yeah.
Does it participate in drag races?
Could be. Could be the case.
My lowest save is a will save, and I picked up a ring of resistance.
Okay.
Need to add 2 to that.
But we can add that as a buff. That's easy. What is the abbreviation for will? Just need roll 20 to stop lagging for a second.
WILL.
Yeah, I just want to make sure it wasn't some short abbreviation. Okay, so additional buff. This is the Ring of Resistance buff, right?
Yeah.
So it should be plus... How much was it? Plus what?
Plus 2.
Plus 2.
Nice.
That, yeah, there we go. It was just lagging for a second. Okay.
I forget that what's his name? The demon that made them that cursed us.
Oh, the Akiko demon?
Yeah, was that a wisdom save?
It was, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it was a will save.
Who is still affected by that?
Currently Jazashi.
Because if we've had a couple of days, I can definitely cast Break Enchantment.
Yes, please.
Yeah, I'd say go ahead and make your first casting. Let me pull up. I just closed the DC a second ago. Let me pull that back up.
That's just a caster level check, I think.
Yeah, but it's versus what? I think it's versus like the save of the. Gotta scroll back down to this fucking evil demon.
Wow, awesome.
That one won't do it, but you still have like 4 more days of trying, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, and I get 4 of these a day, I think. So,
Honestly, if you get 4 a day, I'd say we can just call it and say you make it. I mean, that one smashes it right there, second try.
got it.
Okay, so you're not cursed anymore.
Thank you.
That means your guns won't randomly target other players. That's nice.
That means I can use them again.
Hell yeah.
Is it all guns, or would it affect melee as well?
It was like analog would be fine, basically.
Okay.
I thought it was like it would affect melee too, but I was getting around it by just making sure I wasn't close enough to hit anybody.
I think that was it. I'd have to look up the exact wording of the special curse they made again, but I think it was that. Basically, like, if it's the only viable target, you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
Alright. MK is walking around with a null space chamber just stuffed to the brim with spell gems.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude.
Awesome.
What does that do?
I got a question.
His
I don't
eyes
know
are
if this is
permanently
something that
red.
can happen or not, but
Okay.
I added the thermal capacitor to my armor as an armor upgrade.
Yes.
Is there a way to, let the sheet know that it's there? So, like, when I do a fortitude save against cold, it asks me, is this against cold, and gives me the bonus, or
Ooh.
something. That's just something I have to remember to do.
I think it might be remembered. I feel like there's probably some sort of script I could write to do that, but that might be beyond me.
Okay, no,
I think there's the DR resist box under armor class. That's where I've been putting mine. And I just try to remember it.
You could also type, if you type a note under saving throw in that notes box, that's just like, if it's this,
Just
add
as a
this.
reminder.
Yeah, just as a reminder. That might be the easiest. And then once we finish tonight, because our sheets are getting so complicated, I am going to export them to my vault and make backups. Just to be safe.
Thank you.
I can add a weapon fusion to my gun, correct?
I believe so, yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
You
I'm
can
gonna
go
for
for it.
the bleeding one.
Oh. You know what? I just think as soon as you guys are done, I'm going to fucking start saving these as a backup. Because I have backups for all you guys, but they're from a while ago.
All right, one more thing I want to look at, then I should be done.
All right. Is anyone done right now that I can back up their
I'm
stuff? Okay.
I'm pretty much done.
All right. Let's back up Jax. Just gotta remember my alphabets. And then Koss said he was good. We'll import that as well. And then Flax said you were ready, or was MK? I'm blanking.
Flack needs another minute.
Okay, I'll import MKs next then. Right. Zashi, is yours ready to back up? Or no?
It is not. I'm working on it.
That's fine. I'll just keep that open in a different tab for now. All right. Zashi and MK, do you guys feel like you know what you're adding? You're just still adding it in, or are you still looking?
I am good.
Oh, okay.
I'm done.
Let me bet.
I have not been keeping track of my spells and spell gems and stuff in Roll20 just because it's
That's fine.
an incredible pain in the ass.
No, that's reasonable. I'll just back you up anyway.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out how to put in my. I've never done my armor myself, so. I know what I have. I'm just trying to get it into Roll20. So.
Nah, you're good. You're good. All right. And then I'll import Zashi in a hot second, but I think we're all good then. So I might read the description of the next.
I need another minute.
You're still good? Okay. I will set up I got all my stuff set up for the next part, so that's fine.
Dang it. Sorry I keep doing that. What?
The trick now is just remembering all of this shit.
Yeah. Once you get to high level in any game is like that. Like
That's true.
I've been running a crusade for the people at my store for Warhammer, which is basically just like the narrative version of Warhammer where you do battles and you get to level up your units and keep those and give them power-ups and stuff. But it's almost to the end of our crusade, and like all of my units just do insane fucking things all the time, and I think it's so much to keep track of. It's like, did this man with the sword have the relic that lets him channel fucking sun power to charge twice, or was it this man? It's all insanity. Freebooter armor. I can also help Zashi if you want some help with the armor. If you so choose.
Thanks. I think I just got it.
Okay.
At least to show up numbers.
Nice. Solid.
You should be able to copy the modifiers from the other suit of armor and just change the numbers.
Alright, well, we will at least have backups now of everybody, just to be safe.
Okay. Okay, flak is done.
Alrighty. I think I will read the next part then. So, you guys got all your stuff, healed your curses, gone on an insane spending spree with all of the credits that they were willing to spend on you guys, and in between sessions, you're going to have your, despite being 15, your starship will be tier 17 right now. Which is wild. However, after a couple of days, basically, I am going to drop us back in to, like, real time. News channels, social media feeds, countdown infosphere sites, and government bulletins, all on alert since the alien starship entered the Pact World system, explode into even a frenzy as the massive vessel appears outside of Absalom Station. Vid feeds show a vessel seemingly carved from a single block of stone or horn, lines of energy running across the rigid hull plates of the titanic megalith. Outside the suites that you're in, shouts erupt from the streets as groups of citizens, seeing the ship through the bubble of the eye, begin to panic. The vessel seemingly brushes off an initial bombardment of missiles and blasts of plasma from the Armada's many ships, like a person might ignore pesky insects buzzing around their head. Suddenly, a ray of blue energy shoots across the void from some unseen weapon, engulfing Absalom Station in a flash of blinding light. The whole station shudders, sending unsecured vehicles skidding down roads, and the already panicked citizens begin to panic even more. The lights in the station flicker momentarily as emergency klaxons begin to sound. A garbled voice crackling with static manages to sound over all communication devices. Warrant power fit imminent. All citizens report designated shelter areas or spacesuit. Not a drill. Repeat, not a drill. A few seconds later, Absalom's station goes completely dark with a jarring mechanical whir as everything shuts down. This is the view that would basically be seen from a outside perspective of current events. This is also very artistic. Like, you can't even see the fleet in this picture and stuff, but yes, it is a truly a massive ship.
Space Hulk.
Mm-hmm. With the station's power shut down, chaos has begun to erupt. Station security and emergency teams rush to resolve problems as they arise, but some situations are far beyond their stretched thin capabilities. As such high-powered individuals, you are currently some of the only people on the station capable of dealing with a number of threats that have begun to arise. The closest emergency becomes immediately apparent to you a few minutes after the station goes dark, as some unseen assailant from within Jatembe Park below you has begun throwing massive boulders into the lower floors of your and other skyscraper buildings around.
What?
Mm-hmm.
So rude.
All right. As you guys kind of gear up in your apartments, you know, another one of those delivery robots shows up, basically with, like, any final items that you guys had purchased. If we assume they, like, delivered, Miss Knott has, like, expedited the deliveries. And you see a brief, like, communication from her. She tells you guys anything you don't want to take with you, she will store in the robot's personal null space chamber. And she does offer a few extra items. And some of these, I don't think any of these are overlaps, but there's a lot. If there's overlaps, feel free to get your money back, but I tried to listen into all of these as it happens. But there is quite a bit. There is a suit of Elite Aegis series armor with magic resistors. There are Titan shield armors. There are axiomatic Paragon crossbolters. A dispelling parallax laser rifle. You know, I'm just going to copy this. There's too much. There's a lot of spell gems, too.
Yeah, that's... Oh, god damn it.
Sorry, you were vague on the spell gems, but I feel like none of these spell gems are bad. So I feel like it won't...
20,000 credits worth of spell gems.
If you want to unspend some of them, feel free, because there's a lot of shit here.
Well, we'll see what's there. If they're not on my spell list, I can't actually use them, which is very frustrating.
I'm going to put this in Discord as well, because there's a lot of shit.
Yeah, could you put that in the loot channel?
Yeah.
Holy hell. I'm gonna need another hour.
Sorry.
Yeah.
To be fair, I don't think we're going to get super far into encounters and stuff. Now we're just getting into, like, the dramatic cliffhanger. So feel free to add this stuff to your sheets afterward.
So, cool.
But Miss Knott basically tells you, like, look, I've raided my personal, like, subsection of Abadar core. Like, her section of the company, she's like, I cleared out what our quartermaster had in stock. And pretty much just assume you have... Until you leave Absalom Station, you guys pretty much have, like, infinite ammo at the moment.
Good.
Alright. So.
Sorry, Flack, do you have a better pistol than the Zenith laser pistol? Your Gyrojet thing, is that better?
Those are both, like, really good, and one is fire damage, and one is sort of like piercing or ballistic or whatever it is. So that's the reason I keep those two.
Oh, okay.
I think the Zenith laser pistol is as high as you can go with the laser pistol.
I believe it is. I would hope so,
The
because that's like
gyrojet,
what Zenith
I just
means.
have an elite. Right. So the gyrojet, I think, has a couple levels up from that.
There's super Zenith laser. No. Yeah, Zenith laser is a level 17 item, so yeah, it's as good as it gets for the laser pistols. All right, so as you guys, grab this gear, you grab your own stuff. She is willing to store whatever the fuck you guys want to leave behind, as long as she gets you out on the streets as soon as possible. But you guys, to give the vibes here, you're powerful, you're experienced, you have enough to feel a sense of control in the situation, while most citizens most certainly aren't feeling that level of control. The loss of station power, as well as your efforts in keeping boots on the ground in here, is all going to affect different situations in here. So, when you got that 39 and focus on the culture for station security, that is going to matter for these next parts. Alright. So, I'm going to give you guys some just general factors that are in here, and this is going to be a lot to think about. But we'll try to do it. So, Absalom Station security. Any security forces around, you guys have a bonus to diplomacy and intimidate, equal to the number of fleets you sent here. So you have +3 to diplomacy and intimidate whenever you have to make the diplomacy or intimidate checks related to station security. So basically, for like the length of this part, add +3 to those checks. Darkness. The lights of Absalom Station have been compromised by Arc Prime's interference. Only a few auxiliary lights and magically powered street signs currently provide illumination. All areas are going to be treated as darkness. So either you need dark vision or to provide your own lighting. Notably, if you're trying to calm citizens and they can't see, you're going to take a penalty to diplomacy or intimidate, because they literally can't fucking tell who's ordering them around. Next, the gravity generators are fucked. The gravity has begun to fluctuate, leading to randomly occurring gravitational shifts. While we're in combat during each round, there's going to be a 50% chance that some of you are going to gain the off-kilter condition, unless you have a way of mitigating effects of gravity. Notably, your guys' checks did help better organize the defensive effort outside with the Armada, but without power, the station shields are not really functioning. So occasional stray shots and debris from the battle outside could affect you guys in here. Final thing that matters is the thin air. The loss of power is resulting in a total shutdown of HVAC systems and air scrubbers. The flora within Jitembe Park usually aids in natural air production, and the park is large enough that it might take days before anyone actually is in danger of suffocation. However, the longer we are in this situation, the more air quality is going to decline, and even if it's not going to asphyxiate people, it's going to start impacting people. There will be a multitude of direct intervention things you guys have to do, but know that there are many problems and emergencies elsewhere on the station. To give you an idea of stuff that's around, you could potentially, order people to go fix this, or, if you guys want to divert from your main missions to try to help yourselves to something. But there are backup generators around that could come in helpful to reactivate. Lots of fires have broken out around the station. Data loss is a huge risk right now. Arc Prime is obviously still outside. Freezer failures could cause laboratory failures because cold things are getting shut down. You guys already know about HVAC. The crowds have begun to experience mass hysteria, which you have mitigated already through some of your efforts in this book. Medical emergencies are problems. Victims getting spaced could be a problem. and people being trapped behind magnetic seals in different parts of the station is a problem. However, the most immediately obvious problem to you guys, again, is the fact that something was just hucking boulders out of a park in the center of the space station into your building, basically. So yeah, that's a lot to think about. Basically, if you can imagine a problem on a spaceship, it's happening right now. And feel free during this time, as we go through this book, if you come up with crazy plans that could aid the station, feel free to pitch them, because that'll be part of this. Make sense to everybody? Cool. Alright. Unless you guys want to divert to doing that stuff, are you heading to Jatembe Park first as the most immediate problem that seems to be out of control?
Yeah, sure.
Alright.
Go make them knock that shit off.
All this is coming from the Ark, right? It's coming from the ship.
Yeah, whatever beam it hit you guys with fried stuff.
Should we jump on Slosia and go attack the ship?
You could.
Or are we going to run around the station and put out fires?
That is also an option. One of the things I would just remember, like, that I pointed out at the beginning of it, is that, like, there are now situations in the station that pretty much only you guys are going to be able to resolve with how dangerous they are. Like, a lot of that basic shit I had, fine. Like, other people can deal with, like, backup generators and stuff. Whatever is hucking boulders, like, the regular troops out here are not going to fix that. So, like, that is a valid option going out there. But, you know, you'd be leaving other risks inside, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Guess we gotta help the people. Plus, they're throwing boulders at our building.
Right? Just bought this place, sort of.
All right. So going for that, as everyone's going, though, I want everyone to give me either a culture or an engineering check as you run out. All right. Jax is going to figure this out. Flack's going to figure it out. MK is going to figure it out. Zashi, not immediately going to figure it out, unfortunately, but the others will figure it out, so I think it's going to be fine. All right.
They'll tell me. I'll be fine.
The whole station doesn't have power. And it clicks to you, that's even worse than it sounds. The primary thing that powers facilities in here is the Starstone reactor. Which means that, to some degree, whatever that beam did is fucking with the Starstone itself. Which is exceptionally worrying, yeah. That is like the central beacon of drift travel. Alright. But with that, I think everyone has dark vision in this group,
the
right?
Starstone from here?
You could head to the reactor. That is one of the things that is certainly within your reach.
I think on our way to whatever is chucking boulders at our building, MK is going to be very interested in getting to the Starstone.
I would say, yeah, we'll assume it'll make one of the checks that comes up later easier, since you said that. We'll assume MK is like starting to like track, like make plans, like what routes to take that would lead you to the reactor the quickest from your current position.
Yeah.
So just remind me that you say you did that, and that'll make a later check easier. But I think everyone here can see in the dark, correct?
Yeah.
All right. Then we'll go over to our next map.
As far as the stuff that we're,
Yep.
sorry, I'm just doing some quick mental math. I think I'm going to take that extra dimensional armor.
Go for it.
Because that is power armor, correct?
I believe so. Let me check the exact stats.
Is it in the compendium?
Let me check. I know it's a newer item. It is not, but I can find the link for you. One sec.
Yeah.
It is one of the power armors. Extra-dimensional armor, hybrid. Constructed with the aid of mad cultists who revere inhuman and unknowable entities. This metallic armor defies conventional geometry. Its flat planes appear strangely curved upon close inspections. Its contours blend and blur. Your opponents can't keep clear sight on the armor's shape or position, even looking directly at it, which gives you some amount of concealment. However, if you ever take the armor on or off, you risk that it starts to warp your sanity because it looks so insane. So yeah. Basically, anytime you benefit from concealment, you raise the percentage by 10. So like 20 to 30, 50 to 60. Insane. All right. And we'll, I think, wrap up soon here on a cliffhanger. But as you guys begin to approach the park, you guys are, as basically higher-ranking members of the defense effort now, you are able to patch into local comms, and you begin listening to the traffic from people near Jatembe Park. You guys will be coming in from the north end of the park, as that is closer to where your new headquarters would be situated. Oh yeah, cost. I think you definitely are able to expedite MK figuring out the correct paths a lot since you grew up here. In fact, I believe the book gives you a specific bonus because you grew up here. Yeah, basically any check to navigate, since you're a native, cost will come at a +5 as you go through the station.
What was the name of the park again?
Jatembe Park. Jatembe being old mage Jatembe. Back in Pathfinder era stuff, basically after Earthfall and the world ended, Jatembe pretty much single-handedly rediscovered every school of magic. He is like the bossest wizard ever. In fact, in Strength of Thousands, the school you go to for magic is like his school that he founded. So this park is, named in his honor. But as you guys approach from that end, you are able to hear some of the chatter from the local defense forces. No, I told you, I couldn't see. The sound of someone, fumbling loosely with their comm unit slightly obscures the dialogue. Give me that, I already told you. Holy hells, Jatembe Park is ripping itself apart. Did you see... What sounds like a gust of wind momentarily drowns out the speaker. God damn it, I knew someone was going to make a Harambe joke. In wind. Is it something wrong with the gravity generator? I can't tell. Did you see that? It's pulling up from the ground. Some kind of machine? Covered in dirt and grass? What the fuck's going on? You hear panic shouting coming from the park. I'm going to send you guys another handout. As you can hear the sounds of panic in the park. Roll 20 starting to
Panic
really
in the
close.
park.
This is what you see.
Oh, no.
You can see, it's throwing boulders big enough at that top to damage skyscrapers. Alright, doo-ba-doo-ba-doo. I would say go ahead and anyone who wants to know what it is, give me a mysticism check. All right. You guys would figure out, especially MK here. Actually, only MK really with over the 40 would know the exact subspecies. A few of you realize that this is what is known as a kami. MK, you know that this is a Chinjugami. Spirits known as Gami usually hold guardianship of various aspects of existence, caring for them in often esoteric ways. Legends hold that the gods created the kami, which propagated then throughout the universe. Kami are also said to spontaneously manifest as they find new objects to guard, from the tiniest flower to potentially entire cities. Kami that fall to evil ways risk becoming Oni. I'm going to drag a Shinigami onto the map here. That is its actual size. In relation to you guys, it is a gargantuan creature, I believe. So yeah, you would know that it is a guardian spirit protected constructed ecosystems. This species basically specifically protects ecosystems that are a mix of tech and nature, which is a spaceship park would be the exact thing that it would protect. You guys would know that they are not unintelligent. What do you guys do? Is like you see this thing standing in front of you, and then this will be like our last thing as we decide what to say or do to this thing.
It's currently thrashing everything around.
It was currently tearing boulders out and like hucking them.
Yeah, I think we need to
Does it
subdue this
does
sucker.
look damaged or like affected or something?
Give me another perception check, actually.
Boom.
All right. You can see as it's holding a boulder, it seems to be looking around. And it doesn't spot it right away, but you see the object of what it is searching for. And this is going to be a much smaller creature, which is why it's hidden. There's another smaller creature over here. I didn't make a handout in time, so I'm going to make a bigger image so you guys can see what they look like. You see this creature hiding amongst the trees. If you want to make one more mysticism check on that.
Try it.
I would like to point out that's me rolling an 18. It doesn't get much higher.
God damn.
Nice.
Jesus Christ.
The last one was a
You're
19.
good at other things. Don't worry.
You guys would, MK and, again, I feel like Jax is like, oh, that's a kami, but doesn't know what kind. MK, you guys, this is a different subspecies of kami known as a Toshigami. Toshigamis, also called blossom kamis, are usually found in certain protected arboretums on Castravel and occasionally in Absalom Station. There are some snippets of pre-Gap lore that suggest they have a special relationship with cherry trees, although in these days, cherry trees have become critically endangered. They often seem unwilling to settle anywhere else, though, to the point where they will ignore settling with other trees. So this is a little bit odd placement for a Toshigami.
Do I know with those checks what language these things would speak?
I think you would know that the Toshigami would speak common, and it can speak with plants. They are also telepathic to a certain range. The Shinjigami, I believe it is basically the same. Let me just confirm. It was colossal size. Whoops, holy shit. He also speaks common and telepathy, although notably, since he is more tech-based, he does not communicate with plants.
Okay. Well, I mean, MK's inclination, and I'll share this telepathically with the group, is that, neither of these things typically are evil, and something weird is happening here, and we should probably try to figure out what that is before we just start shooting.
Fair enough.
If it looks like it's going to keep throwing boulders, I say we shoot it, though. If you want to try to talk them down, sure.
Maybe we shoot the boulders
There's potential
as
there.
we try and figure
That
out.
sounds like fun.
I mean, we need to try and figure out what's going on, but sort of limit the damage, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I'd say so there. I think we're not going to get through that conversation in the next, 15 minutes. So I think we'll pause there, but that is the intent going into the next one. All right.
Right.
So to wrap it up, Starstone, in trouble. All power on the station, gone. Fleet outside, doing its best to hold off the Ark. Thankfully, it seems like the Idari, at least some amount, was able to get out of the way, because you didn't see the Idari get destroyed or anything, thanks to your efforts. But without the station's defenses up and running, there's only so much the fleet can do, the Armada outside. That being said, if the whole of the inside of Absalom Station falls to chaos and is destroyed, what's the point of even defending it? So,
Fair.
decisions to be made. And then you guys are going to talk next time with the big colossal one's a Shinigami. This is a Toshigami hiding in the trees. One seems to be looking for the other. Definitely something weird going on.
So weird. What is happening?
A lot, dude. Fucking a lot
So
is
much
going
is
on.
Oh my god.
Ugh. It's high-level campaigns. Definitely, I think it's the most notes I have going for any of my campaigns right now is just this book. It's fucking so crazy. All right.
That's just, I mean, we did stuff tonight we've never done. I mean, just the
Yeah.
the Pack Worlds Council and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Doing those
That's
chats.
true.
Yeah, that was neat.
I like that they added that because why wouldn't you guys be influential figures in the Pact Worlds at this point?
Right?
Objectively, you're way more powerful than a lot of people in the Pact Worlds.
Yeah.
Which hopefully will be enough to save the Pact Worlds. We'll see. All right. I will catch you guys
Forget it.
next week then. Same time, same place.
Sounds good.
All right.
All right.
See you later.
Thanks,
All right,
everybody.
guys. Have a good night.
You too.